But as the O'Reillys found their peace, far across the shifting waters, another story was stirring, a story woven in shadows and sorrow. Hertza, now called Mirabelle, was not born a demon. She and her brother Morpheus had once known the gentle touch of sunlight and the laughter of the good angels, Celeste, Uriel. In a world above the clouds, Mirabelle and Morpheus played beneath golden trees, their laughter echoing through endless skies. Celeste taught them kindness. Uriel showed them the beauty of forgiveness. For a time they belonged. They were children, curious, bright, full of hope. But destiny is not always kind. The truth of their creation could not stay hidden. One fateful day, the angels discovered the darkness that slept within the siblings' hearts. A darkness not of their choosing, but of their making. With sorrow in their eyes, Celeste and Uriel stood at the gates of paradise. "We are sorry, little ones," Celeste whispered, tears shimmering like dew. "You were not meant to fall, but you cannot stay." Banished from the only home they had ever known, Mirabelle and Morpheus tumbled into the world below, their wings scorched, their innocence lost. The warmth of the angels faded, replaced by the chill of exile. In that moment, something inside them changed forever. Now, as Mirabelle gazes into the water's depths, she remembers the gentle hands that once cradled her and the love she was forced to leave behind. Shadows gather at the edge of her memory, but so too does a single, fragile hope. That even those born in darkness might one day find their way back to the light. In the world below, time moved differently, marked not by sunlight, but by the slow drift of shadows across Mirabelle's heart. She wandered ancient forests and silent ruins, always with Morpheus at her side. He was her brother, her only family now, but the sorrow of their exile twisted inside him, turning grief into anger. Morpheus's voice echoed in the darkness. "The world has never wanted us, Mirabelle. Why should we care for its light?" His eyes burned with a fierce resolve, his hand reaching for hers. "We are stronger than they know. We can carve our own place, take what we deserve." Mirabelle hesitated, her mind a storm of memory and longing. She remembered Celeste's gentle words, Uriel's forgiving smile. The warmth of the clouds above still lingered in her dreams, but the world was cold and Morpheus's pull was strong. Each act Morpheus demanded chipped away at Mirabelle's resolve. She stole when he commanded, whispered lies when he insisted. With every step, the distance between who she was and who she was becoming grew wider. Yet, in the quiet moments, Mirabelle's heart ached for the goodness she had lost, and for the hope that perhaps one day she could find it again. But for now, she followed her brother into the gathering dark, her wings hidden, her spirit trembling between the memory of light and the promise of power. Beneath the twisted canopy, Mirabelle's steps faltered. The hunger gnawed at her, a cold ache in her chest that no earthly food could ease. She was ilmnugentene, marked by the blood in her veins, the legacy of her family. Around her, the world seemed to shrink, shadows pressing close ancient feasts, forbidden rituals. Morpheus watched her with knowing eyes. "It's in us, Mirabelle. We survive by taking what others fear to lose." His words were gentle, sharp as a blade. Hunger was their inheritance, to deny it was to deny who they were. In the village below, laughter drifted through the night air, fragile, unaware. Mirabelle's heart twisted with longing guilt. She remembered her mother holding her close, whispering lullabies, sorrow warning. "We do not need food, but the craving will haunt you, and when you feed, you will never forget their fear." Mirabelle's hands trembled. She saw herself reflected in Morpheus's eyes, not a girl, a shadow, dangerous, beautiful. The family's history was written in betrayal, loss, tears of those who trusted, silence of those left behind. She felt the weight of status, expectation to be ruthless, to rise above, to never look back. Moving toward the edge of the village, Mirabelle hesitated. The hunger was a wound, her heart a wound. Could she bear to hurt another as her family had always done? Or could she find another way, a path through the darkness that did not end in sorrow? As the moon rose, Mirabelle stood alone, caught between the legacy of her family, fragile hope for something more. Night heavy with fear-longing, Mirabelle's choice would echo through generations yet to come. In the shadowed silence beyond the village, Mirabelle pauses, breath shallow, haunted by the hunger that pulses in her veins. The moonlight catches on the silver locket at her throat, a gift from Lisa, youngest cousin, closest friend. Now a bittersweet memory, a gentle rustle behind her. Cylon, her father, emerges from the darkness, his voice low, weighted with regret. You carry more than our hunger, Mirabelle. You carry our hope. Beside him, Uraxua, her mother, reaches out, her hands trembling not with fear, but with love. Sephir, ever restless, flickers in and out of the shadows, pockets full of things that do not belong to him. He grins, but his eyes are wary. We all steal something, Mirabelle. Some of us take trinkets. Some of us take trust. And then Lisa, small, bright-eyed, a warmth in the night. She stands close, her hand slipping into Mirabelle's, silent comfort in the face of the family's ancient curse. Their faces blur in the half-light, each marked by the same legacy, each shaped by choices and consequences. Mirabelle feels the weight of belonging and the ache of difference. Family is not just inheritance, but the moments of compassion, rebellion, forgiveness that defy the darkness. As dawn threatens the horizon, Mirabelle knows she is not alone. The bonds of blood are tangled, painful, but also a lifeline. A promise that even in hunger, even in shadow, there might be another way. The family stands together, caught between history and hope, the night and the coming sun. For the first time, Mirabelle dares to believe that their story could change. As the first rays of dawn slip through the tangled branches, Mirabelle and Lisa find themselves alone by the ancient willow, its roots drinking from the same creek where their story began. The night's confessions linger in the hush between them, unspoken but understood. Mirabelle, eyes rimmed with exhaustion and resolve, turns to Lisa, her voice barely more than a whisper. I know what happened with Mother, the words trembling in the cool morning air. I know the burdens you carry, how you've hidden your pain to protect us all. Lisa's hands twist in her lap, knuckles white, but she does not look away. We're both marked by what we inherit, Mirabelle, but we don't have to be ruled by it. Her gaze is fierce, a spark against the shadows of their lineage. A silent pact forms between them. No matter how deep the darkness runs, they will face it together. Lisa slips her locket from her neck, pressing it into Mirabelle's palm. For luck, for courage, for us. Mirabelle clasps it tight, feeling the cool metal warm in her hand. A promise, a tether, a reminder that love can survive even the oldest curses. Together they rise, sisters not just by blood, but by choice. The world is uncertain, the path ahead tangled with secrets, but they step forward side by side, ready to rewrite their fate. In the hush of the new day, hope lingers, fragile, luminous, and fiercely alive. In the weeks that follow the sisters' pact, a quiet transformation takes root beneath the surface. While Mirabelle seeks answers among the shadows, Lisa finds herself drawn ever closer to Hertza, not by blood, but by choice. Their mothers' histories loom over them heavy as storm clouds. Yet in each other's presence, the weight eases. Under the rustling canopy of the willow, they share whispered secrets, then laughter like sunlight on water. Hertza's eyes, so often wary, soften. They confess fears, they confess dreams too fragile for the world beyond. One afternoon, as rain patters softly on the leaves, Lisa admits, "Sometimes I think that darkness is part of me, that I can't escape it." Hertza squeezes her hand. "You're not alone. We carry each other through." Their friendship becomes a sanctuary, a place where the past loses its hold and hope is kindled anew. In the shelter of their bond, Lisa learns that family can be chosen and that trust, once planted, can grow stronger than any curse. The world remains uncertain, but in the quiet moments they share, Lisa and Hertza discover a strength neither knew they possessed: the courage to believe in brighter days and in themselves. As twilight deepens, Hertza and Morpheus find themselves alone in the forgotten chapel, its stained glass fractured by time. Shadows flicker along the ancient walls, drawing them together. Two siblings, bound by blood secrets. A strange pulse thrums beneath their skin, a call neither can ignore. Morpheus's hands tremble as black tendrils swirl at his fingertips, responding to a silent will. Hertza's gaze meets his, fear and longing mirrored in her eyes. "Do you feel it too?" she whispers, her voice barely more than a breath. Morpheus nods, his jaw clenched. It's like something inside wants out. Something hungry. The air thickens, charged with possibility and dread. For a moment, power surges between them. A taste of what they could become should they surrender to the darkness within. Images flash. Destruction, glory, isolation. Hertza recoils, heart pounding. "We're not monsters," she insists, but doubt creeps in, cold and persistent. Morpheus's voice cracks. "But what if we are? What if this is who we're meant to be?" The question hangs heavy, echoing in the silence. Yet as the night presses close, Hertza reaches for her brother's hand, grounding them both. We choose who we become, together. Their grip is shaky, but it holds, defiant against the lure of shadows. In that fragile union, they find a sliver of hope. That even in the darkness, they are not lost. As the first stars prick the sky, Hertza and Morpheus stand side by side, uncertain but unbroken, daring to face what lies ahead, together. In the quiet aftermath of their vow, Hertza seeks out Lisa, drawn to the flicker of candlelight in the library's deepest corner. Dust motes swirl in the air, settling on tomes bound in cracked leather, journals that once belonged to their mothers. Lisa's fingers trace faded ink, her eyes heavy with revelation. "They hid so much from us," she whispers, voice trembling with the weight of old wounds. Together they turn the fragile pages, piecing together confessions and regrets, letters never sent, dreams abandoned, sacrifices made to shield their daughters from a darkness they themselves could never escape. Hertza's breath catches as she reads her mother's words. "We chose silence, thinking it would save them. But silence is its own kind of curse." Memories surface, moments of quiet sorrow, harsh words, distant embraces. The sisters see now, the pain they carry is not only their own. It runs deeper, flowing from generation to generation, shaped by choices made in fear and hope alike. A tear slips down Lisa's cheek. "They were fighting for us, even when we couldn't see it." Hertza nods, her voice soft but resolute. "We break the cycle. We choose honesty. We choose each other." As they close the journals, the library feels lighter, as if the ghosts of the past have been heard at last. In the flickering candlelight, Hertza and Lisa share a silent promise. Their story will be different. The chains of the past may be heavy, but together they will forge a new path. One where secrets give way to truth and pain becomes possibility. As dawn creeps through the ancient manor's stained glass, Hertza steps into the courtyard, her mind still echoing with revelations from the library. The air is thick with dew and anticipation. From the mist, two figures emerge. Morgana, cloaked in midnight blue, her gaze sharp and curious. Evanora, silent and watchful, silver rings glinting on her fingers. They move with purpose, unsettling yet strangely familiar. Morgana speaks first. "We have watched you, Hertza. The power you wield is not common, nor is your courage to embrace it." Evanora steps forward, her eyes reflecting the first rays of sunlight. "We have wandered long, searching for someone who understands the shadows as you do. Will you show us what you have learned? Will you teach us how to shape the darkness into something new?" Hertza hesitates, feeling the weight of the past and the promise of the future. The question lingers in the chill morning air. Is she ready? She meets their gaze. Determination rises. "If you seek truth, not just power, if you are ready to face what the darkness hides, then yes, I will teach you. But we walk this path together." A silent pact forms. Hope, uncertainty. The sun climbs higher over the courtyard. A new sisterhood stands together, united not by blood but by choice. In Hertza's promise, the cycle begins to break. The shadows stir, sensing change on the horizon. As the days unfold beneath the manor's watchful eaves, Hertza, Morgana, Evanora gather nightly in the flickering glow of candlelight. The old ways are shared, but so are new questions, each lesson turning into a conversation, each ritual blending tradition with innovation. Hertza guides them through the labyrinth of shadows, her voice steady, her mind open to their insights. Morgana's curiosity sparks unexpected revelations. Evanora's quiet wisdom offers gentleness where Hertza once knew only discipline. In this exchange, Hertza discovers the limits of her own knowledge and the strength that comes from vulnerability. Together, they experiment, fail, and try again. Each misstep forging trust, each success deepening their bond. The line between teacher and student blurs, replaced by a sisterhood of equals. Old fears are voiced and faced, shared laughter and long silences. The trio carves a new tradition, one built on trust, honesty, the courage to question what came before. As dawn breaks once more, their shadows stretch long across the courtyard, no longer solitary, but interwoven. In teaching, Hertza finds herself transformed, the future no longer bound by the darkness of the past, but illuminated by the promise of what they will create together, beyond the mortal shadows. Hertza finds herself summoned to the celestial realm, radiant marble, endless sky, beings woven from pure light. Here the air hums with hymns, but not all is harmonious. Awaiting her are the angelic triplets, their halos gleaming with cold perfection. At their center stands Seraphius, eyes sharp, voice dripping with disdain. "Why do you walk among us, shadow-bearer?" Seraphius sneers. His words echo through the clouds. The other two circle Hertza, their laughter a brittle melody. They mock her heritage. They mock her rituals. They mock the scars she carries from the world below. Their wings beat in unison, a wall of white feathers that isolates her. Hertza stands silent at first, the sting of their words burrowing deep. Doubt flickers in her heart, old fears rekindled by these celestial taunts. For a moment she wonders if she truly belongs, if the light will ever accept the darkness within her. But then, memories of her sisters rise to her defense. Morgana's spark, Evanora's calm. She straightens, meeting Seraphius's gaze with quiet defiance. The pain remains, but so does the strength she has forged through every trial. Hertza does not speak. Her silence is a shield, her resolve a beacon. As the angel's laughter fades, a new understanding dawns. Acceptance must begin within. Even in the realm of light, shadows have their place. Hertza turns away from the triplets, the seeds of doubt dissolving in the glow of her own hard-won self-worth. The lesson is harsh, but it is hers to carry, another thread in the tapestry of her unwritten path. The celestial realm, once awe-inspiring, now twists into a labyrinth of loneliness for Hertza. The angelic triplets, emboldened by Seraphius's contempt, close ranks around her. Their halos flare, illusions shimmer in the air. With a wave, Seraphius conjures phantom voices, whispering Hertza's deepest doubts back to her. Echoes swirl through the marble halls. The other two, wings unfurled, manipulate the light itself. They bend it into mocking shapes. Shadows dance at Hertza's feet. They mimic her every move, warping her form into grotesque caricatures. Laughter erupts, brittle and piercing. Other celestial beings avert their eyes, unwilling to intervene. Hertza reaches out. Her hands grasp only cold, empty air. Every step meets a new trick. Invisible barriers block her path. The floor beneath her shifts, threatening an abyss of isolation. The triplets' power dazzles, but their cruelty cuts deeper than any blade. She stumbles, heart pounding. The triplets' voices rise in a cruel chorus. "Shadow-bearer, you do not belong." The words sting, each syllable a weight pressing her down. For a moment her spirit wavers. Their scorn almost snuffs her resolve. But within the din, a memory flickers. Her sister's hands in hers, their voices promising she is never alone. Hertza steadies herself, drawing strength from love beyond the shining walls. Though the triplets' light blinds, her shadow remains, a quiet testament to her endurance. As the scene fades, Hertza stands center in the marble expanse, battered but unbroken. The angel's tricks cannot erase who she is. In the crucible of light, she finds the courage to claim her place, not despite her darkness, but because of it. In the aftermath of humiliation, Hertza ascends the winding stairs. The chamber of elders looms. Marble pillars loom overhead, their surfaces etched with the history of angels. Hertza's voice trembles. She recounts the cruelty of the triplets, pleading for understanding. The elders, shrouded in luminous veils, listen in silence. Before Hertza can finish, the angelic triplets glide forward, halos burning with righteous light. They weave words like silk, twisting the truth. Hertza is unstable, her shadow a threat to celestial harmony. Their voices drip with concern, their eyes glimmer with false sorrow. The chamber fills with murmurs. Doubt ripples through the ranks of the ancient council. Hertza's heart pounds. She tries to speak, but the elders' gazes grow cold, unmoved by her pain. Each plea echoes unanswered, swallowed by the vastness of the chamber. The triplets' lies take root, choking out her truth. Frustration surges. Her fists clench, wings quiver. Is this justice? Is this the order she was taught to trust? For the first time, Hertza questions not just the cruelty of her peers, but the very fairness of the celestial order. The elders' silence rings louder than any accusation. As the scene fades, Hertza stands alone in a sea of marble and indifference, a single shadow in a world that worships the light. In the hollow silence that follows the tribunal, Hertza's pain smolders into something new, a flicker of rebellion. As the marble chamber empties, whispers trail the triplets. But Hertza does not dissolve into shadow. She stands tall, wings folding tight with resolve. Next morning, the Celestial Academy hums with gossip. The triplets glide past, expecting her to shrink. She meets their eyes, unblinking. Their taunts fall flat. Her silence is a shield. They block her path. She simply steps around them, gaze steady. Onlookers pause, curiosity stirring. In the practice arena, Hertza's shadow magic flares, controlled, sharp, unmistakable. She volunteers answers in class, her voice steady. When the triplets attempt to undermine her, she counters with truth, her words cutting through their deceptions. The instructors notice. The whispers shift. Hertza is changing. One afternoon, a younger angel, often overlooked, approaches her. "You stood up to them," she whispers. Hertza nods. Her defiance is not just for herself, but for all who tremble in the light. The triplets exchange uneasy glances. Their dominance, once unchallenged, now flickers with uncertainty. Hertza's rebellion is small, but it is enough. Enough to unsettle the order. Enough to spark hope in silent hearts. As the sun sets, Hertza stands atop the Academy's highest spire, wind tugging at her hair. The world below is vast, uncertain. For the first time, she is not afraid to cast her shadow wide. The embers of defiance burn bright, promising a fire yet to come. As dawn breaks over the Academy, a quiet transformation stirs in its halls. Hertza's defiance, once a lone flame, now sparks a chorus among the silent and the sidelined. In shadowed corridors, outcasts lift their heads. Emboldened by her courage, speak to stand to let their own truths flicker into the light. The triplets feel the shift. Seraphius, usually unflinching, pauses as she passes Hertza in the library. The eyes of those they once dismissed now linger on them, questioning unafraid. Guilt and doubt ripple beneath Seraphius's composure. For the first time, the sisters see the cracks in their unity, a legacy of choices they can no longer ignore. In the practice arena, Hertza is no longer alone. The younger angel who once whispered now stands beside her, wings unfurled, voice steady. Others join, forming a circle of solidarity. Each act of bravery, each word of truth weaves a new tapestry not wielded to wound but to protect. Hertza's journey is far from over. She still feels the weight of her past, the ache of old wounds. But with every step, every ally who rises beside her, she sheds the shame that once bound her. She is more than her shadow. She is strength. She is acceptance. She is hope. Above, the sky blazes with sunrise. Hertza smiles, her spirit alight. The awakening chorus swells around her, and for the first time, she knows. She belongs. As the sun climbs higher, Hertza feels a pull beyond the Academy's walls, a silent invitation carried on the morning breeze. Guided by instinct, the lingering courage of her newfound allies, She slips into the ancient forest bordering the grounds. The air is thick with emerald shadows, the hush of hidden life. Every step is a question, every rustle a secret. In a clearing dappled with golden light, Hertza encounters Neve, a solitary wanderer, eyes that reflect the wisdom of ages, burdens yet unspoken. Neve's presence is both calming and unsettling. Her smile veils as much as it reveals. She speaks in riddles, her voice like wind through leaves, hinting at trials beyond the Academy's reach and truths that echo deep in Hertza's bloodline. Neve shares tales of those who walk between worlds, choices forged in darkness, choices forged in light. She recognizes Hertza's pain, gently urging her to look beyond scars and shame, to see the strength in her journey and the power in her voice. In Neve's words, Hertza hears a reflection of her own struggles, but also a promise. Every shadow walked is a path toward understanding. Every bond forged in hardship is a root that will hold through any storm. As they part, Neve presses a token into Hertza's palm, a feather, impossibly white, humming with quiet energy. Hertza clutches it close, feeling the forest's ancient heartbeat thrumming beneath her skin. With new questions and hope stirring within, she steps from the verdant veil, ready to face whatever mysteries and truths await on her path. As Hertza emerges from the forest's embrace, Neve is already waiting at the edge of the clearing. This time, she's not alone. By her side stands Isabella Riaz, a figure cloaked in midnight blue, her eyes glinting with secrets long kept. The air around Isabella shimmers with a quiet power, and Hertza senses at once that this meeting is no accident. Hertza, your journey is not yours alone. Isabella has walked the shadowed paths before you, and she carries truths that must be revealed. Isabella steps forward, her presence both commanding and compassionate. With a subtle gesture, she draws Hertza and Neve into a circle etched in the moss, a circle older than the Academy itself. The ground hums beneath their feet as Isabella unfurls a scroll, its parchment etched with symbols that pulse with ancient light. She speaks of prophecies whispered in forgotten tongues, stories of bloodlines entwined with fate, a coming trial that will test the bonds Hertza has forged. As the prophecy is read aloud, visions flicker before Hertza's eyes. Sisters standing together against a gathering storm, shadows falling and rising, a choice that could shape the world's destiny. Isabella's hidden past is unveiled in fragments, a lineage of sacrifice, a legacy of power balanced on the edge of hope and ruin. In that sacred circle, Hertza feels the weight and wonder of destiny settle upon her shoulders. The feather in her palm glows softly, resonating with the prophecy's call. With Isabella and Neve by her side, Hertza knows she is not alone. Together they face the unknown, bound by secrets, courage, the promise of a future yet unwritten. As the echoes of the prophecy linger in Hertza's mind, she finds herself drawn to the lake's edge, where moonlight dances across the rippling water. The world seems to hold its breath. Silver reflections shimmering, the air alive with possibility. Hertza kneels, her fingers trailing the cool surface, when a sudden ripple disturbs the calm. From the depths emerges Oceanus, the merman, his scales glinting with iridescent blues and greens, eyes ancient and kind. Hertza's breath catches, awe and caution mingling in her chest. Oceanus speaks, his voice a melody that seems to blend with the lapping waves. Not all power lies above the surface, Hertza. The lake is a gateway, a realm where magic and danger entwine beneath the moon's gaze. He invites her to peer beneath the water, where shadows swirl and luminous plants pulse with hidden energy. Hertza glimpses visions, lost relics slumbering in the silt, currents that conceal both secrets and threats, and the faint outline of a submerged gate, waiting for one who dares to seek it. Oceanus warns, the water remembers what the land forgets. Many have sought its magic, but few return unchanged. He offers Hertza a pearl, its glow echoing the feather's light, an emblem of trust and a promise that the underwater world will answer her call when the time is right. As Hertza gazes into the depths, she feels the pull of new mysteries and the promise of unseen alliances. The moon's reflection merges with her own, and for a moment she understands. Her journey flows in many currents, some yet to be discovered. The lake returns to stillness, But Hertza departs with the knowledge that the world beneath is as vital as the one above, and that Oceanus's warning is also an invitation. As the moonlight fades into a silvery mist, Hertza accepts Oceanus's invitation and slips beneath the lake's surface. The world transforms, sound muffled, colors deepened, every movement slow and dreamlike. Guided by Oceanus, Hertza glides, past curtains of glowing kelp and ancient stone pillars, their carvings telling stories of a pact forged between land and sea. Here she witnesses the delicate balance that sustains both realms. Schools of shimmering fish weave around enchanted roots that stretch from the land above, their energy nourishing the water below. Bioluminescent plants pulse in time with her heartbeat, illuminating the fragile harmony that holds the lake's magic together. But shadows linger beyond the light. Hertza glimpses rifts in the silt, dark fissures where unnatural currents swirl, carrying whispers of forgotten threats. For every gift the land bestows, the sea must answer. But there are those who would tip the scales, creatures from the abyss, and hearts above who seek to claim what does not belong to them. They pass the submerged gate Hertza saw in her vision, its runes flickering with warning and promise. Oceanus pauses, his gaze solemn. The balance is fragile, Hertza. Should the pact be broken, both worlds will suffer. But you carry the light of both realms. The choice to protect or to disturb the current lies with you. As they ascend, the surface shimmers with dawn's first blush. Hertza emerges, breathless and changed, the weight of newfound responsibility settling in her chest. She knows now. Every choice ripples outward, binding land and sea in a destiny only she can shape. Thunder cracks across the midnight sky. Hertza stands at the lake's edge, the storm's fury echoing the turmoil within her. Lightning flashes, illuminating a shadowy figure perched atop a twisted willow. Arti, the ninja witch, her presence barely more than a ripple in the rain. Cloaked in midnight silks and woven sigils, Arti drops silently to the ground, her gaze sharp and knowing. You carry the weight of two worlds. But power is not only what you inherit, it's what you conceal, and when you choose to reveal it. With a flick of her wrist, sigils flare. The storm bends, rain spiraling around them in a protective veil. Hertza, startled, reaches for the magic pulsing within her. Arti vanishes, reappearing behind her in a blur of shadow and light. Strength lies not in force, but in the unseen. Stealth, patience, the courage to move in silence. She circles Hertza, each step a lesson, each gesture weaving magic with motion. As the storm intensifies, can you protect what matters when no one sees you? Will you fight the darkness within as fiercely as the threats without? The world narrows to the pulse of rain, the flash of sigils, the silent contest between them. When the storm finally breaks, Hertza stands alone, breathless and changed. The encounter lingers, a lesson in power's quietest forms, a new respect for the shadows that shape all destinies. As dawn glimmers on the wet earth, it will require wisdom, patience, and the courage to embrace the unseen. As dusk bleeds into the battered horizon, Hertza and Arti stand shoulder to shoulder at the forest's trembling edge. A deeper darkness festers beneath twisted roots and tangled shadows. Word has spread. An innocent has been taken. A soul held captive by the ancient wraith, the Umbral. Its lair pulses with forbidden magic, a fortress of shifting gloom. Hertza's heart pounds with purpose. Arti's eyes glint with silent resolve. Without a word, they move. Hertza's power surges, roots uncoiling to bend to her will, wind answering her command, cloaking their approach in a hush of leaves. Arti slips between shadows, her sigils painting invisible paths through the night. Together they are unseen, unstoppable. Inside the Umbral's lair, the air crackles with menace. Hertza whispers to the earth, vines binding spectral guards. Arti's sigils flare, disrupting traps with silent precision. Every move is a dance, strength, stealth, magic, misdirection. The wraith rises, form shifting and monstrous. Hertza faces it head-on, channeling lingering storm power. Arti circles, a blur, distracting, deceiving, setting the perfect trap. In a final surge, Hertza roots the wraith in place. Arti's sigils seal it, binding shadow with shadow. The captive is freed, trembling but unharmed. In the pale light, they share a look. No words, the unspoken bond of battle. Together, Unity forges a power neither could wield alone. They vanish into twilight, new legend born, courage, cunning. The unbreakable alliance between the witch and the ninja. The stars blink awake, draping silver across the clearing where 5 figures gather. Hertza stands at the center, roots still humming with the echoes of battle. Neve's frost-laced breath glows in the night air. Isabella's eyes shine with quiet wisdom. Oceanus's presence ripples like hidden currents. Artie's sigils gleam faintly on her fingertips. A circle forms, no leader, no follower. Each bears scars, secrets, strengths. The darkness they faced lingers at the edges, a reminder of threats yet to come. Hertza speaks first, her voice steady. Alone, shadows nearly consumed us. Together, we are the guardians of dawn. Neve raises her hand, frost swirling. For every world touched by night, we promise to be its shield. Isabella nods, her words soft but unyielding. We bind our fates to hope, across realms, across bloodlines. Oceanus's vow is the rush of water over stone. Let no tide of darkness pass unchecked. Artie's voice is a whisper, yet it carries. By shadow and light, I stand with you. They clasp hands, power and promise intertwining. Ancient magic stirs, a pact sealed not just in words, but in will. The alliance is born, 5 souls, 1 purpose. As the moon rises higher, the oath is made. From this night on, the worlds will not stand alone. The Twilight Guardians watch over all. As the pact's magic lingers in the moonlit air, the 5 guardians step beyond the clearing, their shadows stretching long into the unknown. Hertza leads with roots pulsing beneath her feet, each step weaving hope into the soil of a world reborn. Neve's frost traces shimmering patterns in the grass, a silent promise of protection. Isabella's wisdom guides their path, illuminating possibilities where fear once dwelled. Oceanus listens to the whispers of unseen rivers, sensing new currents of destiny. Artie's sigils glow brighter, casting gentle light on the road ahead. Together, they traverse forests where ancient secrets slumber and cross rivers reflecting starlit dreams. Each challenge becomes a thread in their shared story. Old wounds healing, new strengths awakening. Hertza's world, once bound by solitude, now pulses with unity and possibility. With every step, hope expands, an unbreakable bond forged by trust, courage, the promise of dawn. The adventure has only begun. As darkness retreats before their joined resolve, the Twilight Guardians move forward, protectors, companions, and architects of a future yet unwritten. Final, the Twilight Guardians move into the dawn. As the first golden rays of dawn pierce the ancient forest canopy, Hertza pauses, sensing a presence older than the trees themselves. The air shimmers with hidden power. From the mist emerges a procession cloaked in deep emerald and silver, members of the Order of the Dragon. Their eyes, flecked with the colors of distant storms, regard Hertza with reverence and caution. At the procession's heart stands Celeste, the enigmatic leader, her very aura humming with the wisdom of centuries. Silver scales trace delicate patterns along her arms. Her gaze meets Hertza's, piercing yet kind, and the world seems to hush in anticipation. Celeste speaks without words, her voice a melody that echoes in Hertza's mind. Guardian of roots and renewal, you walk the threshold of destinies old and new. The Order has watched your journey, for it intertwines with ours. The dragons remember, and so must you. A circle forms around Hertza and Celeste. The Order's members raise crystalline staffs, weaving symbols of alliance and remembrance into the morning air. Celeste gestures, inviting Hertza to witness visions of dragonflight, ancient wars, and the fragile peace now blooming in the world's shadowed corners. In this moment, Hertza feels the weight of legacy and the promise of new kinship. The path ahead is no longer hers alone. It is bound to the will of dragons and the wisdom of those who honor the old ways. As Celeste offers her hand, Hertza accepts, knowing that the next chapter will test the very heart of the Guardians. The dawn brightens, and with it, a new alliance is forged, one that will shape the fate of all realms. Beyond the circle of emerald and silver, a hush falls. The air thickens, charged with the kind of power that bends both shadow and light. From within the swirling mist, a colossal silhouette emerges. Scales shimmer like hammered gold, and eyes burn with the memory of eons. This is Marcus, the Dragon King, ruler of the Elder Brood, his presence both a challenge and a promise. Marcus's gaze sweeps over Hertza, weighing her soul in a single, unblinking stare. The ground trembles as his voice resonates, not with sound, but with the thunder of ancient storms. Mortal child of two worlds, do you understand the gravity of the pact you seek? Dragons do not bind themselves lightly. A vision unfurls before Hertza's eyes, the forging of the ancient alliance, sealed with fire and sacrifice. She sees warriors and dragons side by side, defending the fragile hope of peace. Marcus's voice becomes a low growl. The order was founded on trust and courage. Those who falter bring ruin to all. He lowers his massive head, breath warm with the scent of old forests and forgotten magic. Why do you seek our bond, Guardian? What will you give, and what will you risk to uphold it? Hertza stands firm, her resolve shining despite the weight of Marcus's challenge. She speaks from her heart, promising loyalty not just to the order but to the balance between all things. Shadow light dragon human past future. Marcus studies her, then, with a slow nod, a faint ember of approval flickers in his golden eyes. You have answered as a true guardian should, but words are only the first step. Prove your heart, and the pact shall endure. The mist swirls anew, encircling Hertza and Marcus as the ancient trial begins, one that will test not only her strength, but the very core of her intentions. As the mist recedes, revealing the aftermath of Marcus's appraisal, a new presence stirs at the edge of the circle, a silhouette smaller than the Dragon King, yet no less striking. Scales the color of twilight ripple over her form, her eye one gold, her eye one deep violet, reflecting a turmoil older than words. This is Xena, daughter of Marcus, born of dragonfire, forged also by Morgona's arcane design. Her wings are broad, uncertainty weighs them down, her voice is melodic, edged with unease. Xena steps forward, her gaze flickering between Hertza and her father. You seek a pact with dragons, Guardian. But what of those who walk between worlds, never fully belonging to either? Her question hangs in the air, a challenge and a confession. A memory surfaces. Hatchling Xena learning to breathe fire, longing for the laughter of human children, Morgona's shadow always at her back, whispering of destinies unfulfilled. The struggle to belong has shaped her, forging strength and sorrow. Marcus's golden eyes soften as he regards his daughter. Xena is proof of what our two worlds can create, but also of the trials that follow. His voice is gentle now, echoing with pride and regret. Hertza meets Xena's gaze, recognizing the same fracture within herself, the push and pull of legacy and choice. With quiet resolve, she reaches out, bridging the gap between dragon and human. We are not defined by where we come from, but by what we choose to become. Walk with me, Xena. Let's find a place for us both. The moment is tentative, fragile as spun glass. But as Xena accepts Hertza's hand, the circle of trust expands, one step closer to a future where all shadows and all lights may finally belong. As the circle of trust widens, a sudden hush falls. The torches flicker, shadows quiver, then a slender figure emerges from the gloom. Her presence is fierce. Her presence is fragile. Ember, daughter of Draken, steps into the moonlight. Her hair is a cascade of ember red, her eyes glimmering with the secrets of midnight. Twin tattoos, one a swirling flame, one a curling shadow, dance along her arms, pulsing with hidden energy. Morgona's mark is unmistakable upon her, but Ember stands tall, her gaze unwavering as it sweeps across the gathering. Her voice is soft, yet it resonates with a power both ancient and new. You speak of belonging, she says to Xena and Hertza, but Morgana shaped more than bloodlines. She forged bonds between fire and shadow. Within me, they burn as one. A memory flickers. Ember as a child conjuring flames, flames that twist into darkness, her laughter echoing in lonely corridors. As Morgana watched with calculating eyes, the weight of her creation lingers, yet Ember's spirit remains unbroken. As Marcus and Draken lock eyes, fathers bound by pacts and pain, Ember steps closer to Xena. We are more than Morgona's design, she whispers. We are sisters of fate, not by birth, but by fire and shadow entwined. Hertza senses the delicate balance shifting. She reaches for Ember's hand, uniting dragon human and something wholly new. The air shivers as their fingers touch, a surge of power rippling outward, a promise that the children of old magic will write their own destinies. In this moment, Morgona's influence is no longer just a shadow on the past. It is a force the new generation must face together. As Ember, Xena, and Hertza stand side by side, their bond becomes a beacon, an ember in the darkness, kindling hope for what lies ahead. The dawn after the ember-lit night brings no peace. Deep beneath the mountain's ancient bones, the Council of Scales convenes a secretive assembly where the fate of dragonkin and their allies is decided. Marble columns etched with dragon runes loom over a chamber of flickering shadows. A low hum of power fills the air. Hertza, Xena, Ember, summoned as outsiders among elders bound by blood, bound by flame, bound by the scars of Morgona's design. Elders with eyes of molten gold drakes in human guise, the stoic dragon king, his silence heavier than stone. A challenge is cast: prove your loyalty to the order, or face exile from every sanctuary and every secret ever kept. Trials of heart, trials of skill. Hertza must defend her right to belong, her words weighed against centuries of suspicion. Xena faces old rivals, whispers dripping with envy. Ember marked by flame, Ember marked by shadow, met with awe, met with fear, her power a living reminder of Morgona's legacy. Together they must navigate shifting alliances, veiled threats, riddles in the old tongue. The council probes for weakness, seeking cracks in their bond. In the crucible of judgment, a new truth emerges, family forged in blood, in trust, in sacrifice, and in the courage to stand together. The verdict hangs. Hertza, Xena, Ember. Clasp hands, defiant, unbroken, ready, not just inheritors of ancient power, but architects of a new dawn. In the wake of the council's verdict, a hush falls over the chamber. Shadows flicker as Hertza stands apart, Hertza apart from Xena, Xena, Ember, her face etched with turmoil. The air is taut, every breath heavy with the weight of unspoken fears. Morgona's gaze pierces the gloom. Evanora's fists clench at her side, the elders of the Dragon Order lean forward in anticipation. Suddenly, Hertza steps into the circle of ancient runes, her voice trembling but resolute. She utters a forbidden incantation, her palms crackling with stolen dragon fire. The runes ignite, sending a shockwave through the chamber. Gasps erupt, the sacred wards fracture and collapse, their power unraveling in a cascade of sparks. Morgona's cry of rage echoes off marble pillars. Xena rushes forward, disbelief etched upon her face. Ember rushes forward, disbelief etched upon her face. The elders rise in outrage, their forms flickering between human and draconic with fury. Hertza's eyes brim with regret, but her resolve does not falter. Ancient enemies sense the breach, old wounds flare open, every sanctuary resonates with alarm. Hertza stands alone, her actions echoing like thunder. Even her closest allies shrink back, unable to comprehend the gravity of her betrayal. As the dust settles, Hertza's silhouette is framed by the dying light of the council chamber. The magnitude of her deed settles upon her shoulders. She has crossed a line from which there is no return. In the silence, a single truth remains. Nothing will ever be the same again. As the fractured echoes of Hertza's betrayal ripple through the ancient halls, word spreads like wildfire beyond the council chamber. Shadows gather in the corridors. Whispers morph into accusations. Trust dissolves into anger. Cut to Morgana and Evanora, faces carved with pain and fury, confronting Hertza beneath the cold gaze of shattered, stained glass. Morgana's voice, laced with heartbreak, sears through the silence. "How could you?" Evanora's words are sharp, each syllable a blade. "You've doomed us all." Hertza, eyes rimmed with tears, tries to plead her case, her voice barely more than a whisper. "There was no other way. I did this for us, for our survival." But the words fall on deaf ears, drowned by the rising storm of outrage. The elders of the Dragon Order convene, their verdict swift and unforgiving. "Exile," they decree, their voices echoing with finality. "You are no longer one of us." As Hertza stands alone, the world she once called home recoils. Friends avert their eyes. Allies turn away. The corridors that once welcomed her now pulse with suspicion and fear. Each step she takes feels heavier than the last, burdened by the weight of rejection. In the gathering gloom, Hertza's silhouette fades into the distance. her plea for understanding swallowed by the relentless tide of judgment. The order is fractured, and the turning tide leaves no heart untouched. As night settles over the fractured order, the air crackles with unease. Hertza's exile is not enough. Her former friends and allies, once bound by shared purpose, now unite in their resolve against her. Morgana Evanora, steeled by betrayal, summon the council once more. Their voices, once gentle, are now ironclad. "We cannot risk her return," Morgana declares, her eyes burning with sorrow and resolve. "She is a threat to everything we protect," Evanora adds, her words echoing through the chamber like a closing door. The Order of the Dragon readies for war. Ancient banners unfurl. Armor is donned. Spells are whispered in shadowed alcoves. The council's decision is swift. Hertza is to be hunted, not merely cast aside. Her knowledge and power now a danger to all realms. Trusted faces turn cold, alliances shift. Every corner of the stronghold bristles with suspicion. Hertza, heart pounding, flees through winding corridors that once felt like home. Behind her, the footsteps of pursuers thunder, a relentless drumbeat of vengeance. She moves through moonlit forests across broken bridges, her silhouette a ghost in the night, hunted by those she once called family. Enemies close in on all sides. The world narrows to a single desperate choice: run, be consumed by the wrath she has unleashed. The battle lines are drawn. Hertza's journey into exile becomes a race for survival, as the order she loved now seeks her destruction. Beneath a bruised sky, Hertza treads a lonely path. Each step takes her deeper into lands forgotten by hope. Twisted forests, charred valleys, ruins of ancient sanctuaries now claimed by silence. Shadows stalk her, both real and remembered. Creatures drawn by the scent of her power attack. Phantom wolves circling in the fog, spectral ravens shrieking overhead. The fiercest wounds are not talons or fangs, but the faces of those she once called friends. Old allies on the horizon, their spells burning with betrayal. Hertza's defenses are desperate, her heart heavy with every bolt she casts. Days blur into endless flight. Memories gnaw at her resolve. Laughter in the council halls, hands clasped in unity. The promise of a future shattered by her own hand. Guilt and anger twist inside her, a storm with no shelter. Alone she stares into a midnight pool, her reflection fractured by ripples of regret. Is there redemption for one so broken, or will she become the legend they now fear? An outcast, forged by exile, ruled by darkness. Hertza's choice looms, to seek forgiveness or to embrace the power and solitude her actions have wrought. The path ahead is uncertain, but one truth remains. She walks it alone. Night descends like a shroud. Hertza reaches the ancient Colosseum, its broken pillars and scorched stones echoing with the ghosts of champions past. Torches blaze to life in a circle, casting long shadows. One by one, her enemies step forward. Morgana's eyes cold with betrayal. Evanora's staff crackling with judgment, armored ranks of the Order of the Dragon, fanning out swords, drawn banners unfurled. Faces from Hertza's past, friends, mentors, even kin, array themselves against her, united by fear and pain. The air trembles with magic and accusation. Morgana's voice cuts through the silence, demanding Hertza atone for the chaos she has wrought. Evanora offers mercy, if only Hertza will surrender her power. The Order's leader decrees that the bloodline must end tonight. Hertza stands at the center, battered but unbroken. Lightning crackles at her fingertips. Her heart pounds with the weight of every choice, every betrayal, every moment of hope lost and found. The battle erupts, a storm of spells and steel fire and shadow. Hertza's power surges, fueled by pain and longing. She faces each adversary with ferocity, but as the dust settles, she hesitates. The final spell hangs on her lips. In that heartbeat, memories flood back. Laughter in sunlit halls, promises whispered under the stars. Tears streak Hertza's face as she makes her choice. Lay down her arms and reach for forgiveness, or unleash the darkness within and become the legend they fear. The world holds its breath. Hertza steps forward, her destiny balanced between ruin and redemption. The final confrontation is not just a battle of might, but a reckoning of the soul. All eyes are upon her, waiting to see if she will rise as a hero or fall as the villain of her own making. As the echoes of battle fade, Hertza's trembling hand lowers the arena's silence fractures, shattered not by her enemies but by a voice she knows too well. From the shadows beyond the Colosseum's ruined archway, Xena steps forward, her eyes gleaming with a cold resolve. Ember follows the flicker of her twin flames, casting eerie patterns. Hertza's breath catches. Sisters by blood, bound by pacts, promises, yet the air is thick with betrayal. Xena's voice is soft, almost mournful. We could not let you choose destruction, Hertza. Too much rests on your power, or your downfall. Ember's flames swirl, forming a sigil, a trap woven from trust and ancient magic binding Hertza where she stands. The arena's torches dim shadows twisting in unnatural patterns. Memories of laughter, shared secrets twist into knives of heartbreak. Xena continues, words trembling with guilt and grim determination. The prophecy was never yours alone. We are the balance. If you fall, the world survives. If you rise unchecked, all will burn. Hertza's eyes widen. Her sister's love was always laced with fear. The arena is no longer a battlefield, but a crucible of choice. Will Hertza forgive this betrayal and seek a new path? Or will the serpent's gambit push her into darkness forever? As the trap tightens, the fates of blood magic memory hang in the balance. The world stands on the edge of dawn. Hertza is utterly alone, her destiny rewritten by those she trusted most. The night deepens, and the world outside the Colosseum feels impossibly distant. Guided by the flicker of Ember's twin flames and the steady cadence of Xena's voice, Hertza moves through the ruins, each step echoing with uncertainty. The ancient stones seem to pulse with memories, every shadow whispering of old betrayals and half-forgotten promises. Deeper, Hertza, Xena urges, her tone gentle, almost pleading. Ember's flames dance ahead, illuminating cryptic symbols along the walls. Sigils of trust, sigils of sisterhood, now twisted by secret intent. Hertza's heart pounds. She wants to believe in her sisters, to trust that blood and memory can mend what's been broken. But the air is thick with unspoken words. Every glance exchanged between Xena and Ember is a secret kept from her, every smile a mask for something darker. The ruins open into a vast chamber, moonlight streaming through shattered arches. Here the sisters pause. Ember's flames flicker uncertainly. Xena steps closer, her hand trembling as she reaches for Hertza. "We need your strength," she whispers, "but there are forces at play you cannot see." Hertza's eyes dart between them, hope battling suspicion. "Why now?" she asks, voice raw. "Why bring me here?" The silence that follows is heavy with regret. Xena's expression shifts, sorrow blending with resolve. "Because trust is the last key, Hertza, and tonight it will either save us or destroy everything we are." As ancient mechanisms grind beneath the stone, the chamber seals itself, a labyrinth with no escape until the truth is faced. The sisters stand together, but the gulf between them has never felt wider. Hertza realizes this is not a plea for help, but a test of loyalty, a crucible where love and betrayal are indistinguishable in the shadows. The labyrinth's darkness closes in, and Hertza's fate, along with the fate of the world, hangs by the thinnest thread of trust. Within the heart of the labyrinth, shadows coil tighter, the sisters draw close, too close. Hertza senses the shift, a chill crawling up her spine. Xena's hand lingers, not in comfort, but command. Ember's twin flames flicker with a sinister glow. Words of an ancient language slip from Ember's lips, weaving through the air like serpents. The chamber trembles. Hertza tries to step back. Invisible bonds seize her, cold, unyielding, forged from the very trust she'd dared to offer. Xena's eyes glisten with regret and resolve. "Forgive us, sister," she whispers, even as Ember completes the incantation. Runes blaze along the floorlight, wrapping Hertza in a cage of shimmering chains. Pain blossoms through Hertza's veins. A piece of her power is torn away, a fragment of her soul ripped free by forbidden magic. Her scream echoes off the ancient stones. Ember's hands shake as she clutches the stolen power, her face etched with sorrow. "We had no choice," she murmurs, voice cracking. "For the world to survive, we had to do this." Bound and weakened, Hertza collapses to her knees, the weight of loss crushing her. The sisters stand above her, no longer united but divided by necessity and guilt. In the silence that follows, trust-shattered power stolen the fragile hope of redemption, slipping further into darkness. The chains of midnight pulse with stolen power, as Hertza claws desperately at the shimmering bonds, her breath-ragged eyes blazing with betrayal. Above her, the silent pact among sisters shatters. Xena's voice trembles, torn between command and compassion. "We did what we had to, Ember." The prophecy. Ember's hands, still aglow from the forbidden spell, clench at her sides. "Don't hide behind fate. You wanted her power, always did. I saw the way you looked at her, Xena. Like she was a threat." Xena's composure cracks, fear flickering in her gaze. "No, I feared what she might become, yes, but I never wanted this. You crossed the line, Ember. You took too much." Ember turns away, voice barely a whisper. "You never trusted me. Not with her, not with anything. I did this for us. For the world." Hertza's voice, hoarse but fierce, cuts through the tension. "You did this for yourselves. For fear. For jealousy. You were supposed to be my sisters." The air grows heavy as the weight of their choices settles. Shadows writhe along the chamber walls, echoing the turmoil within. The sisters stand divided, their motives laid bare. Fear, envy, desperation twisting the bonds that once held them together. In the dim light, Hertza's tears fall not just for her stolen power, but for the sisterhood torn asunder by the chains of midnight. The chamber darkens. Ember's resolve fractures, unleashing the tempest within her soul. Shadows coil from her fingertips. Tendrils snake across the stone, lashing toward Hertza. The air crackles with raw, unbridled magic. Hertza's form arcs in agony, her cries muffled as darkness wraps her like a vice. Xena stands paralyzed, eyes wide with horror. The sister she once trusted becomes a vessel of torment. Ember's face, fury and pain. Her voice echoes with haunted conviction. "You forced my hand, Hertza. You never understood what was at stake." The shadows tighten. Memories, regrets, visions of their shared childhood. Laughter drowned in suffering. Hertza's voice, trembling, defiant, pierces the gloom. "This isn't you, Ember. This is the darkness you feared." Xena's fists clench, torn. Step in, or honor Ember's plea. Guilt gnaws at her heart, each second stretching into eternity. One step forward, then another. Hesitation. Ember's power surges. The chamber trembles, the force of her torment threatens to consume them all. The line between loyalty and betrayal blurs. Loyalty, betrayal. Sisters suspended between shadow, salvation. Linger on Xena's indecision. The echo of Hertza's suffering, and the darkness that now threatens to claim them all. The chamber lies still, its silence broken only by the ragged breaths of Hertza. Hertza collapsed and trembling, in the cold embrace of stone. Shadows retreat to the corners, leaving her exposed, her body battered, her spirit in fragments. The echoes of Ember's wrath and Xena's indecision linger like ghosts, haunting the ruins of sisterhood. Hertza's eyes flicker, searching the darkness for a trace of hope, but finds only emptiness, the trust she once held, her shield, her compass. Lies shattered at her feet, every memory of laughter, every promise whispered in the quiet of night, now twisted by betrayal. Footsteps fade down the corridor. Ember, fleeing. Xena, fleeing the consequences of their own torment, haunted by guilt that clings to them like a second skin. Hertza reaches out, fingertips brushing the cold ground, her voice a whisper swallowed by the void. "Why did you leave me?" The camera lingers on her solitary figure, broken yet unyielding. In the distance, a single ember glows, faint but refusing to die. The bonds may be broken, but the story is not yet over. In solitude, Hertza gathers the fragments of her will, the pain forging her resolve anew. The night presses in, but Hertza's eyes burn with something fierce, a promise that even in betrayal, hope can be reborn from the shards of solitude. The darkness stretches before Hertza, endless and unyielding, a labyrinth of memory and shadow. Each footstep echoes, a hollow drumbeat of solitude. As she wanders, the air thickens. Flickering apparitions emerge from the gloom. A childhood laughter lost the warmth of sisterly arms, now cold, the bitter sting of Ember's wrath, Zena's wavering gaze. Hertza's breath catches as the visions swirl around her. She sees herself, once strong, once whole, now fractured by betrayal, haunted by the ghosts of trust broken. Their voices taunt her, weaving doubt and regret through the silence. You were never enough. You were always the shadow. But Hertza does not turn away. With trembling hands, she reaches out, touching the faces of her past, feeling the pain, the love, the loss. Each memory cuts deep, but each wound sets her resolve. Tears glisten in her eyes, not of defeat, but of burning determination. In the heart of the darkness, a mirror shimmers into being. Hertza gazes into her own reflection, her face marked by sorrow, her eyes fierce with newfound purpose. She speaks, her voice unwavering, echoing through the void. They took my power. They shattered my trust. But I am more than my pain. I am the fire that endures. I will reclaim what was stolen. I will rise from these ashes. The shadows recoil. The mirror cracks, light spilling from within. Hertza steps forward, gathering the fragments of her will, forging them into strength. The night no longer presses in. Instead, it yields before her promise. As Hertza disappears into the darkness, her silhouette is crowned by that single, stubborn ember, now a spark igniting the path ahead. The vow lingers. Betrayal will not define her. The power will be hers again. As the first rays of dawn pierce the night, Hertza steps from the labyrinth's shadowed heart. The world is painted in gold and ash, every breath crisp with the promise of change. Her cloak, torn and streaked with the memory of betrayal, billows behind her. A banner of survival. The scars on her soul are etched in every confident stride, but her eyes blaze with a new clarity. The weight of loss has been hammered into resolve. She pauses at the threshold between darkness and light, the horizon before her alive with possibility and peril. Hertza's fists clench, not in anger, but in certainty. The time for hiding is over. The time for reckoning has come. She turns her gaze toward the distant spires where Zena waits. Zena and Ember wait. Ember, once sisters, now adversaries. The air shivers with anticipation. Hertza's vow is no longer a whisper in the void, but a clarion call carried on the morning breeze. She will face them, not for revenge, but for justice. Not just for herself, but for every bond broken and every truth stolen. With each step, Hertza gathers the embers of her pain, forging them into a torch that lights her path. The dawn is no longer a stranger's promise, but her own. As she moves forward, the shadows retreat and the world holds its breath for the confrontation to come. The reckoning begins. As the world stirs to a new dawn, Hertza seeks refuge in the hush before action. She sits alone atop a ruined pillar, the ruins of past choices crumbling beneath her. Shadows gather at her feet. They stand as silent witnesses to her pain. Her eyes are distant, reflecting the cold ache of regret. A single thought pulses in the silence. Why am I so evil? Why do I hurt those I care about? I need love. I miss love. My own life feels empty. The words hang in the air, heavy as iron, dissolving into the gloom. The shadows, once her armor, now reveal her loneliness. They echo her doubts, memories of laughter lost, memories of warmth denied. Hertza wraps her arms around herself, longing for the comfort she once knew, wondering if redemption is possible or if she is destined to walk alone. In this fragile silence, a single tear traces the path of hope down her cheek. The world's judgment waits beyond the horizon, but for now, Hertza faces her truest adversary, the emptiness within. The shadows draw close, not to consume, but to cradle her sorrow, whispering that even in the deepest solitude, the spark of forgiveness can take root. Hertza rises from the crumbling pillar, her footsteps echoing in the empty halls of memory. The world around her blurs, dissolving into visions of laughter and gentle voices, echoes of a time when love was not a distant dream. She wanders through these spectral halls, reaching out to touch the fading silhouettes of friends, the gentle embrace of family. Their warmth is a phantom, yet it stirs something deep within her. Her voice, fragile and trembling, breaks the hush. I need redemption. I need to believe I can change. The words drift into the cold air, yet a small ember of hope glows in her chest, fragile but stubborn. As Hertza walks, the shadows soften, parting to reveal a path lit by the faintest lantern light. Each step forward is heavy with longing, but the hope inside her grows, a quiet defiance against despair. The world remains cold, but the memory of love and the belief in forgiveness kindles a new resolve. Hertza is not yet redeemed, but for the first time in a long while, she believes it might be possible. As Hertza follows the trembling lantern glow, the darkness thickens around her, denser, colder. From its depths, a figure emerges. Morpheus, his form shifting like black smoke, eyes glittering with cruel certainty. His voice slices through the fragile hope, cold and sharp as winter steel. "You are a demon, Hertza," he intones, each word heavy and unyielding. "You cannot find love. You have no friends. This is your fate." The words reverberate through the empty halls, echoing in Hertza's mind like a curse. The warmth she clung to flickers, nearly extinguished by the weight of her nature, her monstrous blood, her countless betrayals. The spectral memories recoil, fading further into shadow. Hertza's shoulders sag beneath the crushing truth. For a moment, the light in her chest dims and the shadows creep closer, whispering Morpheus's condemnation. Her hands tremble. Doubt gnaws at her resolve. Can a demon ever change? Can someone born in darkness ever step into the light? But the lantern's flame, though faint, refuses to go out. Hertza closes her eyes, the sting of Morpheus's words burning inside her. And yet, somewhere in the silence, the memory of love stirs again, soft, persistent, and defiant. The darkness may never release her, but Hertza's journey is not over. Not yet. The lantern flickers and she takes another step forward, into the shadows, and toward the possibility of redemption. Hertza's voice rings out, raw and desperate, shattering the hush. "I am more than a demon. I want to be loved. I want to be forgiven." Her cry lingers, swallowed by the endless dark, echoing off invisible walls. For a moment, the silence is absolute. Thick, suffocating, unyielding. The lantern in her grasp trembles with her, its flame a fragile heartbeat in the gloom. She searches the darkness, straining for any sign. A whispered promise, a gentle touch, a single spark of hope. But the shadows offer nothing. No answer comes. The ache in her chest deepens, heavy and cold, as if the world itself has turned its back. Yet as her tears fall mingling with the silence, every hand she once held, every bond she once cherished, flickers at the edge of her thoughts. In the absence of words, the silence itself becomes a canvas for longing. Hertza's heart aches for connection, for proof that her plea is not in vain. And though the darkness remains unbroken, the act of reaching, of daring to hope, carves a quiet space within her, where love and forgiveness might one day take root. In the silence, Hertza finds not an answer, but the courage to keep searching. The lantern's flame steadies, casting a faint but resolute glow. Hertza wipes her tears, her next step uncertain, but her resolve renewed. Redemption may be distant, but the journey continues, one fragile hope at a time. As the echo of her plea fades, Hertza stands alone, her silhouette etched by the trembling lantern light. In the suffocating stillness, her voice becomes a whisper, barely louder than the flutter of her own heart. "I will not give up," she breathes, the words trembling but unbroken. "I will seek love, even if I must fight my own darkness. I will find redemption, no matter what Morpheus says." The shadows press close, doubt curling at the edges of her resolve, but the flame in her lantern refuses to die. Each step forward is a rebellion, a promise to herself and to the world that once cast her aside. Hertza's footfalls echo in the silence, each one a testament to her newfound determination. The darkness does not yield, but she moves through it, guided by the fragile hope she has kindled within. With her vow echoing in the void, Hertza's journey transforms, no longer a plea for forgiveness, but a promise to carve her own path, one step one heartbeat, one fragile hope at a time. The chapter closes on her resolute form, lantern held high as she strides into the unknown, her fate no longer dictated by shadows, but by the unyielding light of her own will. A faint glimmer pierces the oppressive gloom. Hertza, lantern in hand, approaches a secluded grove. Ancient trees twist in silent witness. Shadows ripple across the mossy ground. At the heart of the clearing stands Morgana, her presence commanding, eyes ageless and wary. Hertza's voice quivers as she kneels, her vow warm upon her lips. "Morgana," she breathes, "I cannot bear the weight of Hertza any longer. Let me begin again, shed my past, become someone new, seek redemption as Mirabelle. Transformation is not escape, child. Are you ready to forsake all you were to embrace the unknown?" Hertza nods, tears gleaming. "I am ready. I will carry the lessons, but not the chains." A hush settles as Morgana begins the incantation, her words ancient and resonant. Petals spiral, shadows swirl. Hertza's form is enveloped in shimmering light. Her breath catches, pain, hope. The magic sears away the scars of her old self. When the brilliance fades, Hertza is gone. In her place stands Mirabelle, a new name, a new face, the same unbroken will. Morgana steps back, awe and uncertainty mingling in her eyes. "Your path is yours to write, Mirabelle. Let your light be your guide." Mirabelle lifts her lantern, now burning brighter than before. With a trembling smile, she bows in gratitude. She turns toward the dawn. The first rays of hope glint in her transformed eyes. A new chapter. A fragile chance. The promise that even in the deepest void, hope can be reborn. Mirabelle stands at the edge of the grove, dawn mist swirling around her feet. Each breath is unfamiliar. Every heartbeat echoes with the remnants of Hertza's memories. Regret, guilt, the echo of every misstep. She clutches the lantern, its light steady but her hands trembling. Morgana watches from the shadows, her gaze both stern and sorrowful. "You carry more than a new name, Mirabelle. Redemption is not erasure, but the courage to face what remains." Mirabelle's steps falter as visions flicker behind her eyes. Betrayals, broken promises, faces etched with disappointment. Her voice is soft, uncertain. "How do I begin again when my heart remembers everything?" Morgana's cloak rustles as she approaches, her presence grounding. You listen. You learn. You act differently. Trust is a fragile root, but it can be tended. Together they move through the ancient forest. Mirabelle stumbles, haunted by shame. Morgana steadies her. Along the path, they encounter those hurt by Hertza's actions. Some turn away. Others watch in wary silence. Mirabelle bows her head, offering apologies and silent promises. Morgana guides her, teaching patience. Morgana guides her, teaching empathy. Morgana guides her, teaching the slow, difficult art of earning trust. Each step is a struggle. The lantern's glow grows warmer, steadier, a beacon in the uncertain dawn. In this new beginning, Mirabelle learns, forgiveness is not a gift given, but a journey walked together. And in every tentative step, hope flickers, fragile but fiercely alive. The morning haze parts to reveal a figure leaning against an ancient oak. Finn, the infamous pirate, his eyes sharp as the horizon. Close on Finn's wary eyes. Coat is tattered, boots dusted with salt and earth. Mirabelle approaches, Morgana approaches. The lantern's glow flickers gold across his features. Mirabelle hesitates, sensing the weight of his gaze. Over-the-shoulder shot from Finn, watching. Finn's past, tangled like brambles at his feet. Morgana offers a nod, stepping aside to let Mirabelle lead. Finn's voice is smooth, edged with caution. Not every lantern lights the way. Some just draw trouble. His words linger, testing her resolve. Mirabelle meets his eyes, voice unsteady but sincere. "I know what it means to be lost. But I'm trying to find a new way." She holds the lantern higher. Light reflects in Finn's guarded stare. Silence stretches between them. Old wounds, unspoken questions. Finn's hand brushes the hilt of his cutlass. Names change. Faces change. But shadows stay the same. What makes you different? Mirabelle's grip tightens on the lantern. I remember every mistake. I carry them with me. but I'm learning to let the light in, even if it hurts. A flicker of surprise crosses Finn's face. Glance at Morgana. Glance back at Mirabelle. The pirate's mask cracks just a little. Most folk just run from their shadows. Takes guts to walk with them. Morgana's eyes soften, approval clear. Finn studies Mirabelle. Reluctant nod. Maybe I'll walk a while with you. See if your light's worth following. The three set off together. Lantern glow dances on dew-soaked leaves. Pirate's shadow beside her. Hope lighting the path ahead. The forest thins, revealing a winding path that hugs the jagged coastline. The trio moves in silence. Mirabelle leading, lantern steady. Morgana's gaze ever watchful. Finn trailing, the sea breeze tangling his hair. A sudden landslide blocks the way. A test set by fate or an old rival, none can say. Finn's hand goes to his cutlass. Morgana readies a spell, but Mirabelle steps forward. She kneels, lantern illuminating hidden footholds, and safe passage where others see only peril. Her voice, calm and sure, guides them across. Later, as twilight deepens, danger finds them again. Bandits approaching, drawn by the pirate's legend and the lantern's glow. Mirabelle stands firm, refusing to flee. She shields Morgana from a blade's arc, her own fear eclipsed by resolve. Finn's eyes widen, seeing not a fragile lantern-bearer, but a fierce protector. After the skirmish, Morgana tends to Mirabelle's wounds, her hands gentle, her eyes proud. "You've changed," Morgana whispers, voice thick with emotion. "You've earned your place by my side." Mirabelle smiles, relief and gratitude mingling in her tear-bright eyes. As stars ignite above, Finn lingers at the edge of camp, watching Mirabelle. The pirate's heart, long-armored, cracks open, drawn not just by her light, but by her courage. He steps closer, voice soft. "You're not who you were, Mirabelle. Maybe none of us are." The lantern's glow weaves their shadows together. Pirate, witch, lantern-bearer, united by trust, tested by trial, and kindled by hope. Their journey has only begun, but tonight, redemption shines brighter than regret. The night deepens, shrouding the coastline in a veil of silver mist. Suddenly, the peace is shattered. A monstrous shadow bursts from the crags, its maw aglow with unnatural fire, conjured by old enemies. Finn draws his cutlass. Morgana's hands spark with desperate magic, but the beast's fury is overwhelming. Mirabelle darts forward, lantern held high, her only shield. She places herself between her friends and the creature, the lantern's light blazing with a brilliance born of sacrifice. The shadow recoils, shrieking, but Mirabelle stands firm. "You will not take them. I offer myself. Let them go." The world holds its breath. The lantern's glow intensifies, threads of golden light weaving a barrier around Morgana, threads of golden light weaving a barrier around Finn. The beast lunges, but the light explodes in a cascade of stardust, banishing the darkness. Mirabelle collapses, drained, as the creature dissolves into mist. Finn rushes to her side, falling to his knees. Tears streak his face as he cradles her. "Mirabelle, you saved us. You saved me. I was lost, adrift. But your light, your courage, it's changed everything. I love you." Mirabelle, weak but smiling, reaches for his hand. "I love you too, Finn. I always have, even when I was afraid of my own shadow." Morgana kneels beside them, her eyes shining with pride and gentle sorrow. She places a hand on Mirabelle's shoulder. "You've not only redeemed yourself, Mirabelle. You've given us hope. You are family, now and always." Above them, the stars blaze brighter than ever, their light mingling with the lantern's fading glow. The trio, bound by love and sacrifice, embrace beneath the endless sky, transformed, united, and ready for whatever dawn may bring. As the last echoes of starlight fade from the horizon, another story stirs beneath the waves. At a secluded cove, where the sea's hush mingles with the wind's secret song, two young souls drift toward destiny. On the shore, Iliff traces spirals in the wet sand, each swirl a silent wish for belonging. His silver eyes flicker with restless energy, the burden of his gift making him a stranger among his own kind. From the depths, Maegri arises, her scales shimmering with the colors of twilight. Her hair is woven with shells from distant African tides. She glides through the shallows, drawn by the rhythm of a world that has never quite welcomed her. The ocean's lullaby is her comfort, yet tonight, loneliness tugs at her heart. Their eyes meet. Two outcasts, bound by difference, bound by longing. For a moment, time itself seems to pause. Eilif's breath catches. Magria's song floats across the water, ancient and aching. She senses the ripple in the air and tilts her head curiously, recognizing a kindred spirit in the boy who walks between seconds. They approach, wary yet hopeful. Eilif offers a hesitant smile. "I've never met anyone like you." Magria laughs softly, like waves against stone. "Nor I, you, but maybe that's why we're here." Together they sit at the edge of two worlds, neither fully belonging, yet finding solace in each other's strangeness. The cove cradles their secrets as dusk paints the sky in promise. In their meeting, the tides of fate shift. Two lonely hearts, united by chance, begin to dream of a place where difference is a gift, and friendship bridges the impossible. As the night deepens, the cove remembers. A new legend is born, woven from time and tide. The moon has climbed higher now, casting a silver veil over the cove's tranquil waters. The hush of dusk is broken by distant voices, sharp, mocking, echoing across the shore. From behind a cluster of jagged rocks, a group of local children emerges, their eyes wary and cold. They stare at Magria, her iridescent scales glinting in the moonlight, her hair heavy with the stories of faraway seas. Their whispers cut through the night. "Freak. Fish girl. Why don't you go back to where you belong?" Laughter ripples, cruel and uncertain, as they hurl stones into the shallows, sending frightened ripples toward Magria. Eilif's heart pounds. Time slows for him, the world blurring at the edges as he sees Magria's shoulders tense, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. He senses the weight of every word, every stone, the ache of being othered. With a breath, Eilif steps forward, the sand shifting beneath his feet as if time itself bends to his will. He faces the group, his voice calm yet unwavering. "Why fear what you don't understand? She's not so different from you." She feels, she hopes, she dreams. The children falter, uncertain in the face of Eilif's quiet strength. He kneels beside Magria, offering her a gentle smile, one filled with understanding, not pity. With a subtle gesture, he slows the world around them, creating a hush where only their voices exist. "You're not alone, Magria," he whispers. "Your story matters. Your difference is your strength." The magic between them shimmers, time and tide converging. Magria lifts her chin, her resolve shining brighter than her scales. The jeers fade, the bullies retreat, uneasy under Eilif's unwavering gaze and the unspoken power that hums in the air. Together they sit at the water's edge, the moment etched in the cove's memory. In the stillness, Magria finds the courage to sing again, her melody no longer a lament, but a promise, of acceptance, of friendship, of hope. And as the night deepens, the ripples of kindness spread, quietly reshaping the world, one gentle act at a time. The night deepens, but the hush at the water's edge is soon broken not by cruelty, but by laughter echoing across the moonlit cove. Eilif and Magria, side by side, find themselves swept into a playful rivalry. A splash of salt water, Magria's challenge. Eilif retaliates, conjuring a swirl of shimmering droplets that spiral around her. The contest spirals. Who can skip a stone farther? Who can call the brightest fish? Who can tell the tallest tale? Their voices rise, sometimes in mock outrage, sometimes in gleeful shouts, but always ending in laughter that chases away the last shadows of doubt. From the dunes, Nick and Rebecca watch, exchanging knowing glances. "Do you think they know?" Nick whispers, a grin tugging at his lips. Rebecca shakes her head, her eyes twinkling. "Not a chance. Ask them, and they'll tell you they're just friends." The teasing continues, but beneath each challenge is trust, a bond forged in honesty and play. The moon bears silent witness as rivalry becomes camaraderie, and laughter becomes the language of belonging. Tonight, no one is alone. The cove, once echoing with cruelty, now rings with the joy of found family and the promise of adventures yet to come. The hush of the cove is broken. not by laughter but by raised voices. Eilif and Magria stand at opposite ends of a driftwood log, the moonlight catching the stubborn set of their jaws. Eilif insists, "We need to follow the coast. It's safer, more places to hide if trouble finds us." Magria's eyes flash. "And if we do, we miss the shortcut through the kelp forest. We can't keep running forever, Eilif. Sometimes you have to trust the unknown." Their words tangle, sharp but never cruel. Their argument more dance than battle. Every pointed retort is met not with anger but with a challenge to do better, to be braver. The others watch from the shadows. Rebecca, Zena, Arti, Oceanus. "They fight like old married folk," Rebecca whispers, her eyes glinting with mischief. Arti grins, squeezing Oceanus's hand. "That's not fighting. That's how they say, 'I care.'" The tension breaks as Eilif throws up her hands, a reluctant smile creeping onto her lips. "Fine, but if we get tangled in seaweed, you're the one explaining it to the crew." Magria laughs, the sound bright and free. "Deal. But if we make it through faster, you admit I was right." The group's laughter bubbles up, dissolving the last of the tension. Beneath their sparring lies a current of deep trust, a bond unspoken but undeniable. In the end, it is their differences and not their agreements that make them strong. As the moon rises higher, the path ahead remains uncertain, but no one doubts they'll walk it, together. The cove, still humming with the echoes of laughter, finds a new rhythm as Nick steps forward, ever the peacemaker, always a little out of step. He clears his throat, hoping to broker peace between Eilif and Magria, but their banter swirls around him like mischievous tide pools. "Maybe," Nick ventures, "we could split the difference? Take the coast for a bit. Then try the shortcut if it looks safe." Eilif and Magria pause, eyes flickering in silent agreement. Then, as if on cue, both turn their teasing toward Nick. "Oh, Nick," Magria grins. "Always the diplomat. Are you afraid of picking sides?" Eilif nudges him with a sly smile. "Or maybe you're just afraid of kelp. Don't worry, we'll protect you." Before Nick can protest, Rebecca slides in, her laughter bright and quick. "Careful, Nick. If you keep playing peacekeeper, you might miss out on all the fun. Or the romance." Nick flushes, stammering, I just want everyone to get along." Rebecca's eyes glint with mischief. "Maybe what you need is a little adventure of your own, or someone to argue with across a driftwood log." From the shadows, Zena leans against a weathered rock, her arms folded, exchanging a knowing look with Arti. Arti whispers, voice warm with amusement. "He tries so hard." Zena chuckles. "He'll find his moment. For now, he's part of the chaos, and that's enough." The group's laughter rises again, light and unburdened. Nick, caught in the crossfire of friendly teasing, can't help but smile. In this circle, even the odd one out is never truly alone. As the moon sails overhead, every jest, every misstep, every shared spark of joy. The bonds between them grow ever more tangled, stronger for every jest, every misstep, every shared spark of joy. The gentle night is broken, a sudden shout. Rebecca, eyes sparkling, points to a cluster of driftwood bobbing just beyond the tide. "Race you to the far log and back." She dares, tossing a wink at Eilif and Magria. The group erupts in cheers, their laughter rolling like surf. Eilif cracks a grin, glancing sidelong at Magria. "Last one's a sea slug?" Magria matches his smirk, her competitive spark lighting the air. "Only if you can keep up, shadow stepper." With a splash, they're off, feet pounding over wet sand. The tide nips at their heels, sea spray glitters in the moonlight. For a heartbeat, they're neck and neck. Magria surges ahead. Eilif darts past, nimble as a seal. The group hollers encouragement. Rebecca's whistle. Arti's clap. Zena's rare, approving nod. Even Nick, half hidden behind a rock, can't help but join in, his smile wide and awed. Halfway, Magria stumbles, laughter spilling. Eilif offers a steadying hand. "Truce," he teases. "Only if you admit I'm faster," she shoots back. Their grip is sure as they leap over a tangled branch together, playful jabs giving way to easy teamwork as they reach the log. They tag it in unison and race back, no longer just competitors, but partners in the challenge. As they splash to the finish, both collapse in the sand, breathless and grinning. The group swarms them, applause warm and wild. Nick lingers at the edge, admiration soft in his eyes. He sees it now, how rivalry can spark connection, how challenge can forge trust. In their laughter, in their shared triumph, the bonds of the circle grow ever stronger, woven by competition, sealed by joy. The moon watches as rivals become allies, and the tide carries their laughter far into the night. Night settles over the shoreline, the rhythmic hush of waves blending with the quiet crackle of the campfire. The group gathers close, warmth radiating from flame and warmth radiating from friendship alike. Ailif sits, Magria sits side by side. Ailif's voice is steady, carrying tales of distant lands and shadowed trials, his words painting flickering images on the night air. Magria responds in kind, her stories threaded with laughter and longing, memories of mountain storms and the ache of exile. The teasing that once sparked between them now softens into something gentler, a language of mutual respect. Rebecca reclines nearby. Xena rests with her, sharing quiet whispers and secret smiles. Across the circle, Arti leans into Oceanus, their hands intertwined, content in the hush between words. Nick sits a little apart, the firelight catching the wistfulness in his eyes. He watches the easy camaraderie, the paired silhouettes, and feels a pang, a reminder of the distance he still keeps. With practiced ease, he masks it, tossing out a joke that sends a ripple of laughter around the fire. For a moment, the loneliness ebbs, replaced by the warmth of belonging. In the flickering firelight, stories weave together, of hardship, of hope, fear, and forgiveness. The circle breathes as one, bonds growing in the spaces between words. Here, rivalry gives way to respect. Solitude surrenders to shared light, and the embers of fellowship glow long into the night. As the embers of the campfire glow low, a sudden spark of tension flickers between Ailif and Magria. Words, once gentle, grow sharp. Ailif's tone edged with pride, Magria's with wounded challenge. The argument rises, a clash of old rivalries and unspoken fears, their voices breaking the hush of the night. The group falls silent, uncertainty rippling through the circle. Rebecca's eyes narrow, sensing the pain beneath the anger. Magria accuses Ailif of always needing to lead, to be the one others rely on. Ailif retorts, frustration masking worry, that Magria never trusts anyone enough to share her burdens. The air grows heavy. Oceanus shifts uneasily. Xena glances at Rebecca, searching for the right words. Rebecca steps forward, her voice quiet but steady. "You two see each other's shadows, not the light you bring," she says. "You argue because you care, because you're afraid of losing what you've built together." Her words hang in the air, softening the edges of anger. Arti adds, "Every strong bond has friction. That's how we grow closer." Ailif's shoulders drop. He meets Magria's gaze, remorse flickering in his eyes. "I want you beside me, not behind or ahead. We're stronger together." Magria's expression softens, her defenses crumbling. "I'm tired of fighting alone," she admits. "Maybe I don't have to." Rebecca smiles, gentle and knowing. "Your rivalry is rooted in friendship. Let it bind you, not break you." In the quiet that follows, Ailif and Magria clasp hands, the firelight reflecting the promise in their eyes. "We have each other's backs," they say in unison, a new understanding blooming between them. Around the fire, the group exhales as one. The sparks of discord fade, replaced by the steady glow of unity. The night deepens, but the bonds forged in honesty burn brighter than ever. As laughter drifts from the campfire, Nick lingers at its edge, the shadows of the group flickering across his face. He watches Ailif and Magria, once fierce in argument, now gentle in their teasing, sharing private smiles that speak of wounds healed and trust renewed. Their camaraderie seems effortless, and for a moment, Nick feels the weight of solitude settle on his shoulders. Rebecca, ever perceptive, notices Nick's distant gaze. She approaches quietly, settling beside him on the cool sand. "You look like you've got 1,000 thoughts swirling in your head." Nick hesitates, then lets out a slow breath. "It's just, sometimes I feel like I'm always on the outside looking in. Like everyone else has someone, some connection I can't quite reach." Rebecca's eyes are kind, her voice gentle as the tide. It's easy to feel alone in a crowd, especially when you see bonds forming all around you. But hearts have their own timing, Nick. Love, friendship, they often find us when we're not searching so hard. Nick offers a half smile, uncertainty flickering in his eyes. What if it never does? Rebecca nudges him playfully. Then you keep living, keep showing up. Sometimes, when you least expect it, someone sees you, truly sees you. Until then, trust that you're already valued. You're part of this circle, even if it doesn't always feel that way. A comfortable silence settles between them, the sound of waves mingling with the distant laughter of the others. Across the fire, Eilif and Magria's banter resumes, playful now, full of new warmth. Magria tosses a teasing remark. Eilif fires back with a grin, and the whole group erupts in laughter, Nick included. In that moment, Nick feels the invisible thread binding him to the others, a quiet promise that he too belongs. The night deepens, and hope glimmers gently like starlight on the sea. As dawn breaks, the hush of night gives way to anticipation. The group gathers at the water's edge, faces lit by the first golden rays. The sea calls them onward, toward a new adventure mysterious and untamed. Eilif and Magria, once rivals, now lead with a spark. Playful banter sets a rhythm, a challenge issued, a joke returned, laughter rippling outward. Their dynamic is infectious. Friendly jabs and sly grins, storms pass, something stronger remains. Rebecca weaves between the group, encouraging, teasing, gently nudging Nick. Nick, once quiet, is swept up. He laughs fully. Solitude gives way to belonging. Together they set out, over dunes, through tangled brush. Each step shows trust rebuilt. The path is unknown. Uncertainty becomes possibility. Evening falls, friends beneath a sky dusted with stars. Silent stargazing over the waves. Hopes and dreams whispered. Hands brush. Eyes meet. Bonds stronger than ever. Adventure is courage to trust, and the joy of finding light in one another. Together they face the night, united, unbreakable, forever changed. The moonlight lingers, softening the edges of the world. Eilif and Magria share a quiet moment at the water's edge. The hush is broken, the sound of footsteps. Light, almost playful, approaching from the dunes. A figure emerges, her silhouette shifting, flickering a fox, a bird, a young woman with wild, curious eyes. This is Rebecca, a shifter, a wanderer of many worlds. She pauses, her presence calm and warm, and offers Magria a knowing smile. "You sing to the sea," Rebecca says, her voice gentle. "I've heard that song before." It calls to those who wander, those who shift between worlds. Without hesitation, Rebecca sits beside Magria, her form rippling with the ease of acceptance. Eilif watches as the two connect, no questions, no judgment. Rebecca shares stories of her own, of being too wild for some, too strange for others. She speaks of the beauty and change in embracing every part of oneself, and the power found in friendship. Magria listens, her eyes wide with hope, and for the first time, laughter bubbles between them, light as sea foam. The night air is filled with the quiet magic of understanding. Together, they weave a new thread of belonging, one that binds not through sameness, but through the shared courage to be seen. As the tide pulls gently at their feet, Magria knows she has found not just a friend, but an ally, a kindred spirit who sees her truly for all she is. And so, beneath the moon's watchful gaze, the circle widens. The journey ahead remains uncertain, but in this moment, acceptance glimmers brighter than any star. As dawn's first light brushes the horizon, Eilif, Magria, Rebecca stand together at the water's edge. The world around them remains unchanged, yet within their circle something new has taken root. They are different, each bearing secrets, scars, each shaped by journeys that set them apart. Yet here, difference is not a burden, but a source of strength. Eilif's steady presence anchors them. Magria's spirit brings hope. Rebecca's ever-shifting form reminds them that change is not to be feared, but embraced. Together they share stories of pain and triumph, of loneliness and laughter. When the world presses in with suspicion, silence, they lean on each other, forging a pact of unseen strength. Their bond becomes a quiet rebellion, a promise that they will stand together, no matter the shadows that gather beyond the shore. In shared glances and gentle touches, in laughter that rises above the tide, they find belonging. They promise to lift each other up when doubt creeps in, to celebrate each victory, no matter how small. As the sun climbs higher, their silhouettes stand as one, distinct yet united. The world may not always understand them, but within this growing circle, they are seen, valued, and unbreakable. This is not the end of their journey, but a new beginning, woven from trust, acceptance, and the courage to walk together into the unknown. As the day unfurls its golden promise, Eilif, Magria, Rebecca set forth from the tranquil water's edge, their pact woven tight in the quiet strength of newfound kinship. The world ahead is vast, peppered with challenges that neither map nor memory can predict. Yet with each step, their bond deepens, friendship becoming both shield and compass. Through tangled forests, bustling markets, they face trials that test the limits of their courage. A riddle whispered by ancient trees, a storm conjured by unseen foes, the haunting echo of old fears. But in every hardship, they draw closer. Eilif's calm steadies trembling hands. Magria's laughter dispels the weight of dread. Rebecca's adaptability leads them through the impossible. Their differences, once a cause for isolation, now illuminate the way forward. Together, they learn to trust not only in each other, but in the gifts that set them apart. In the face of uncertainty, they discover that true strength lies in unity, courage in vulnerability, hope in the willingness to try again. As the sun sets on another day of adventure, their laughter lingers on the wind, a promise that, whatever tomorrow brings, they will face it together. For in the tapestry of tomorrow, every thread, no matter how strange or scarred, has its place, and together they are unstoppable. Beneath the emerald canopy, dappled sunlight dances through mist and moss. Eilif, Magria, Rebecca tread softly, the hush of the ancient forest broken only by distant birdsong, until a ripple of laughter weaves through the trees, light and quick as a breeze. A flicker of iridescent light darts between the trunks, drawing their eyes and curiosity. With cautious wonder, the trio follows, weaving between roots and ferns until they find the source. A tiny figure perched upon a mossy branch. His wings shimmer with every hue of dawn, and his eyes are wide with surprise. Nick, a mischievous fairy caught mid-chuckle. Eilif, ever gentle, offers a greeting that turns Nick's wariness to intrigue. Magria flashes a grin. Rebecca's curiosity kindles a spark in her gaze. Names are exchanged, stories shared in snippets. Tales of riddles unraveled, storms survived, and fears faced together. Nick, captivated by the trio's adventures, flutters closer, his laughter ringing out like chimes. The forest itself seems to lean in, branches swaying with delight as new friendship takes root. Light and laughter ripple through the glade, and the world feels a little brighter, a little more magical. In that moment, unity finds another thread, and the journey ahead promises even more wonder. Because every heart that joins the tapestry adds a new color to the adventure. The laughter lingers, echoing through the leaves as the four set forth. Companions now ready to face whatever mysteries the forest and the future may hold. Soft golden light filters through the ancient leaves, painting the clearing in calm, drowsy hues. Eilif and Nick settle side by side on a patch of moss, the laughter of their friends fading into the hush of the woods. For a moment, only the distant call of a lark and the steady rhythm of Eilif's breathing fill the space. Nick's wings flicker, iridescence dulled as his gaze drifts to the carpet of wildflowers at his feet. Eilif notices the shift, their voice low and kind. "You seem far away, Nick. What's fluttering through your mind?" Nick hesitates, tracing a petal with delicate fingers. "It's silly, maybe," he murmurs, eyes fixed on the trembling flower. "I've just been thinking about love, about who I care for, and what that even means." Eilif's smile is gentle, patient. "Those thoughts aren't silly at all," they say. "Sometimes the heart sings a song only we can hear. But you don't have to listen alone." Nick's wings shimmer a little brighter, hope flickering through the uncertainty. "Have you ever felt it, Eilif? That pull? Like there's someone you want to share every sunrise with, but you're afraid to say it out loud?" Eilif nods, their eyes reflecting the dappled sunlight. I have. It's both terrifying and wonderful. But the bravest thing is to let your heart speak, even if it quivers. Nick glances up, vulnerability shining in his eyes. What if the one I care about doesn't feel the same? Eilif's hand rests lightly on Nick's, grounding him. Then you'll have shared your truth. And that's its own kind of magic. Sometimes the world surprises us. A gentle breeze stirs the wildflowers. Nick looks at Eilif, a tentative smile blooming. Thank you. Maybe I'll find the courage to say it. Someday soon. The forest holds their secret, sunlight warm on their shoulders. In that stillness, a new thread of trust is woven, delicate but unbreakable. The journey continues, but for now, two hearts rest in understanding, the clearing alive with unseen possibilities. In a quiet glade untouched by footsteps or time, 4 figures gather beneath a canopy of ancient trees. Eilif, Magria, Rebecca, Nick stand in a loose circle, the air shimmering with an energy none can quite explain. Their paths, once winding alone, have converged, drawn by a series of strange occurrences and a shared sense that fate has been quietly weaving them together. Magria's eyes dart from shadow to shadow, her voice barely above a whisper. Have you all felt it? The moments out of place, the skipped heartbeats, the flickers in the air? Rebecca, ever the skeptic, nods slowly, her gaze sharp. I thought it was just me. Time feels different when we're together, like the world is holding its breath. Nick's wings tremble, iridescent in the filtered light. It started the day I met Eilif, he admits. It's as if something is nudging us, pushing us toward something bigger. Eilif offers a gentle smile, grounding them all. I believe we're meant to find each other, not by accident, but by design. The 4 exchange uncertain glances, the weight of possibility settling over them. Magria steps forward, her hand outstretched. Then let's make a promise. Whatever this is, whatever comes next, we face it together. Secrets, dangers, all of it. Rebecca hesitates, then places her hand atop Magria's. Nick and Eilif join, their hands forming a circle, a silent pact in the hush of the glade. For a moment, the world seems to pause. A single leaf spirals through the air, time stretching and folding around them. Eilif's voice is steady, full of hope. We'll protect each other, no matter what. We're stronger together. As their hands tighten, a faint pulse of light weaves through the glade, sealing their bond in ways none of them yet understand. Long before Artie or Miss Colette enter their lives, the Timebenders are born, bound by secrecy, destiny, and the promise of friendship that will shape the course of their unwritten story. The glade falls silent once more, but beneath its calm, the future stirs. In the hush that lingers after their pact, the 4 new friends linger in the glade, an electric current buzzing beneath the gentle rustle of leaves. As Magria laughs at a quiet joke from Nick, the sound seems to echo, stretching, doubling, as if time itself hiccups. Rebecca's eyes widen. She reaches for a falling leaf. The leaf freezes midair, suspended between heartbeats. Nick blinks, startled. Colors around him deepen. Sunlight fractures into 1,000 slow-moving motes. Is anyone else seeing this? He whispers. Eilif glances at their companions, a knowing look flickering across their face. It's not just you. Something's changed. With a subtle motion, Eilif presses a hand to their cloak, feeling the hidden weight of the time compass. Rebecca hesitantly steps forward. She waves her hand through the stilled leaf. The leaf quivers, then resumes its descent. We're doing this, aren't we? Whatever's happening, it's us. Magria closes her eyes, focusing. The world slows, air thickening. She opens her eyes. Everything snaps back to normal. It's like the world is listening to us now. Like we can shape it if we choose. Nick's wings flutter with nervous excitement. But why now? Why all of us? Eilif's gaze lingers on each of them, a silent promise in their eyes. Maybe our bond awakened something. Or maybe we were always meant to be more. Eilif keeps the time compass hidden, its secret ticking in their pocket. A mystery for another time. The sun dips lower, the group stands in awe. The glade feels charged with infinite possibility. and a first taste of danger. Threads of fate tighten unseen. The time-benders take their first steps into a world forever changed. As the last golden rays filter through the ancient trees, the newfound magic of the glade lingers in the air. The friends sit in a loose circle, laughter fading into thoughtful silence. Eilif's hand rests over their pocket, fingertips grazing the cold, intricate surface of the time compass, a relic pulsing with possibilities and peril. For a moment, Eilif's gaze drifts from the group. Their mind churns with questions. Is it time to share the truth? Are their friends ready for the responsibility for the danger that the time compass brings? Shadows flicker across Eilif's face as they weigh trust against caution. Across the circle, Rebecca notices Eilif's distant expression. Her eyes narrow, not with suspicion, but with gentle concern. Magria senses the shift too, her usual bravado softening as she murmurs, "Eilif, is something bothering you?" Nick, wings stilling, tilts his head. There's an unspoken understanding between them all. Something is being held back, a secret pressing at the edges of their new bond. Eilif hesitates, fingers tightening around the time compass. The weight of choice is heavier than the artifact itself. "There are things I'm still figuring out," they say quietly, voice trembling on the edge of confession. "Things I want to protect you from, until I'm sure." The group exchanges glances, uncertainty mingling with trust. Rebecca leans in, her voice soft but resolute. "Whatever it is, you don't have to carry it alone. We're in this together now." Magria nods, her eyes fierce with loyalty. Secrets can wait. Trust can't. The tension eases, replaced by a fragile but growing sense of unity. Eilif manages a grateful smile. The burden lightened, if only for a moment. Though the time compass remains hidden, its secret is now shared in spirit, if not in words. The night deepens, and as the friends lean closer, their bond weaves tighter, ready to face whatever the future and the time compass may bring. The moon hangs high, silver and watchful. Curiosity tugs at the edges of the group's unity. Eilif, restless, slips the time compass from their pocket. Close up, the artifact's surface swirling with a faint, otherworldly glow. The others gather close, drawn by promise and thrill. Rebecca's voice is cautious yet eager. "Are you sure it's safe, Eilif?" Magria grins, recklessly confident. "We've faced worse than a shiny trinket, right?" Nick hovers nearby, wings fluttering anxiously. Eilif hesitates. With a deep breath, he twists the dial. The air shivers, colors blur. A crack of invisible thunder splits the night. Suddenly, the world tilts. Time unravels. The spinning stops. They're sprawled in a sun-baked street, dust at their boots. Wooden buildings line the horizon, battered and weathered. A tumbleweed rolls past. Distant galloping hooves. Rebecca's eyes widen. "Where are we?" Magria brushes grit from her cloak. She scans the horizon. "Looks like trouble," she mutters. Shadowy figures approach from the saloon. Nick clings to Eilif's arm, voice trembling. "I think we're in the past?" Eilif clutches the time compass, heart pounding. The artifact's glow has faded, silent, unresponsive. "The time compass. It's not working. We're stuck." The friends exchange worried glances. Townsfolk draw nearer, suspicion on weathered faces. Dust, danger, the unknown. The group stands together, united by necessity. Old West shadows threaten to swallow them whole. Above, the sky burns with possibility and peril. The adventure has taken a sharp turn. The only way home is forward, through the wild and untamed heart of history. The dust settles, but the danger lingers. Eilif, Rebecca, Magria, Nick boots, crunching on cracked earth at the unfamiliar frontier. The sun is harsh, casting long, uncertain shadows behind them. Wary eyes track them from the saloon. Gunslinger silhouettes in the doorway. Whispers of suspicion through swinging doors. Rebecca scans the street, reading the coded language of a town on edge. "We need answers and allies," she murmurs, resolute. Magria's hand near a concealed blade. Her gaze scans for threats or opportunities. Nick tries to fold his wings tight. The wind catches them, drawing curious stares. Eilif clutches the silent time compass, feeling the weight of responsibility. A grizzled sheriff approaches, spurs jingling. Close-up, spurs, deliberate steps, hand on holster. His eyes search their faces for truth. "You folks ain't from around here," he drawls. "What brings strangers to Dustwood at a time like this?" Magria steps forward, voice steady. "We're travelers, just passing through, looking for something lost." The sheriff studies the swirling artifact in Eilif's hand, faint shimmer of magic. "You'd best mind yourselves. This town's got its share of secrets, and folks who don't take kindly to outsiders." A flash. A young girl darts from an alley, a shadowy outlaw in pursuit. Rebecca and Magria leap into action. Nick flutters above, distracting the pursuer. Eilif's heart pounds as the town's dormant magic pulses beneath their feet, powers tested in unexpected ways. Rebecca's quick thinking wins a nod from townsfolk. Magria's courage draws whispers of admiration. Nick's magic sparks awe and fear. Eilif senses the time compass echo, fragments of the way home. Dusk. The group regroups on the edge of town, battered but unbroken. The Old West. Dust, danger, and hidden magic where friend and foe blur. The Timebenders know, to survive, they must adapt. In the shadows, a glimmer, the first clue to their escape. Inside the shadowy saloon, lantern light flickers over worn wood and wary faces. Rebecca leads the group through the haze of cigar smoke and whispered rumors. At a corner table, a lone figure sits, her hat low, cloak shimmering with strange runes. Eyes, sharp as daggers, track every movement. This is Artie, the ninja witch, half legend, half enigma. As the group settles nearby, a hush falls. A bottle shatters in the background. The outlaw from earlier reappears, this time with friends. Danger glinting in their eyes. Tension crackles. Rebecca glances at Magria. Nick's feathers ruffle in warning. Eilif's grip tightens on the time compass. Artie rises, movements fluid and silent, her presence commanding. She steps between the strangers and the outlaws. "You picked the wrong night to start trouble." With a flick of her wrist, shadows swirl, knives of moonlight dancing at her fingertips. The outlaws hesitate, then charge. Chaos erupts. Artie moves like a whisper, blending ninja precision with witchcraft, disarming, defending, never striking to kill. Rebecca and Magria leap in, fighting back-to-back with the mysterious newcomer. Nick conjures a burst of dazzling light, scattering foes. Eilif senses the time compass pulse, resonating with Artie's magic. The battle ends as quickly as it began. The outlaws flee. The saloon breathes again. Artie eyes the group, measuring. "You're not ordinary travelers. What are you searching for?" Rebecca meets her gaze, unafraid. A way home, and maybe a way to change fate. Artie nods, a faint smile ghosting her lips. "Our paths are tangled now. The West is full of shadows, but not all of them are enemies." As lantern light flickers, a bond is forged, uncertain but full of promise. Outside, the moon rises. Destinies have crossed, and the Timebenders sense their journey just became far more complicated and far more hopeful. The hush of the clearing lingers. Nick and Eilif wander a little deeper into the woods, the hush between them now filled with gentle anticipation. Sunlight dapples through the canopy, casting playful shadows on the mossy earth. Nick's wings twitch restlessly, his gaze flickering to wildflowers, his gaze flickering to the path ahead. Eilif walks beside him, quiet but attentive, sensing the storm of thoughts beneath Nick's usually bright exterior. Finally, Nick speaks, his voice soft and uncertain. "Eilif, can I be honest with you? I'm not sure how I feel. About Magria, about everything." Eilif's expression is open, encouraging. "You can tell me anything, Nick. What's on your mind?" Nick hesitates, searching for the right words. "Sometimes when I'm with Magria, my heart feels like it's skipping. Like I want to be near her, but I don't know if it's friendship or something more. And then sometimes I think maybe I'm just confused. What if I'm wrong? What if I hurt her? Or myself?" Eilif offers a gentle smile, their voice steady. "It's okay to be unsure. Feelings aren't always simple, and they don't have to be decided all at once. What matters is being honest, with yourself and with Magria, when the time comes." Nick's wings droop, the weight of uncertainty settling on his shoulders. "How do you know when it's real?" Eilif considers, then replies softly, When you think about her, does it make you smile? Does your heart feel lighter, even if you're nervous? Nick nods, a blush coloring his cheeks. Then start with that. Let yourself feel without forcing the answer. The truth will come, in its own time. A quiet understanding passes between them. Nick lets out a breath he didn't know he was holding, the knot inside him loosening just a little. Thank you, Eilif. I'll try to listen to my heart, even if it's confusing. They walk on, the forest around them whispering secrets of patience and possibility. In this gentle pause, Nick's journey of self-discovery finds its first, hopeful step. The hush after Nick's confession lingers as the pair stroll deeper into the emerald hush, the world narrowing to the sound of their footsteps and the distant call of a warbler. Sunlight flickers across Nick's wings, the silence between them now thick with things unsaid. Eilif slows, turning to face Nick with a gentle, searching look. The air shivers with anticipation. Nick! Eilif's voice is almost a whisper. Have you ever wondered if your heart might be drawn to someone else? Not just Magria, someone closer, maybe? Nick blinks, caught off guard. His cheeks flush a delicate rose, wings fluttering in surprise. Someone else? He echoes, voice trembling with uncertainty. Eilif's smile is soft, reassuring, but there's a vulnerability in their eyes, a hope wrapped in caution. Sometimes feelings can surprise us. Sometimes the person we're meant to notice is right beside us, sharing the same path. Eilif hesitates, then adds, Have you ever thought about me? For a heartbeat, the world holds its breath. Nick looks away, the question blooming between them like a wildflower after rain. Beautiful, startling, and impossible to ignore. He stares at the moss underfoot, searching for words, but only manages a shy, uncertain laugh. I don't know. Maybe? I never really thought. Eilif's hand brushes gently against Nick's, a silent reassurance in the quiet. It's okay, Nick. You don't have to know right now. Just let yourself feel. Whatever your heart chooses, it will be enough. Nick glances up, meeting Eilif's gaze for just a moment. An unspoken promise lingering in the air. The path ahead seems brighter, the future uncertain but full of possibility. Together, they walk on, the question hanging between them like a lantern in the dusk, lighting the way toward whatever comes next. The hush of the woods deepens. Sunlight filters through the leaves in golden patches. Nick and Eilif linger on the mossy path. The air is thick with anticipation. The words left unspoken still echo between them. Nick's wings twitch nervously, their shimmer dulled by uncertainty. He finally breaks the silence, voice barely above a whisper. Eilif, there's something I should probably say. He glances away, tracing the curve of a fern with his fingertip. I think I do like you, more than just a friend. The confession tumbles out, fragile as a butterfly's wing. Eilif's breath catches, eyes wide and searching. Nick's cheeks flush. He rushes on, words tumbling over each other. I've noticed you, watched you actually, a lot. The way you move, the way you care for everyone. He hesitates, uncertainty clouding his features. But I see you and Magria together. You seem so close now. I don't want to get in the way. I'm not even sure what I'm supposed to do with these feelings. Eilif steps closer, the forest holding its breath around them. Nick, they murmur. Your heart is safe with me. Their hand finds his, gentle and grounding. Magria and I are friends, but what I feel with you, it's different. It's special. Nick's eyes meet Eilif's, hope flickering in their depths. The confession hangs between them, vulnerable and true. The world seems to hush in reverence. The moment is fragile, but it glows with the promise of new beginnings. Uncertain but full of possibility. Together they stand in the dappled light, hearts bared and trembling, letting the forest witness the first honest bloom of something more. The hush of the woods lingers, the golden light now tinged with a bittersweet hue. Nick's wings droop ever so slightly. He takes a small step back, the weight of his confession still heavy in the air. Eilif's eyes are kind, his voice steady as he reaches out. placing a gentle hand on Nick's shoulder. "Nick, it's okay to feel what you feel. I'm grateful you trusted me with your heart. You're brave for speaking your truth. Your honesty means more than you know." Nick's gaze falls, uncertainty flickering across his face. Maybe I should find someone else. I see you and Magria. You're together now, aren't you?" Eilif's nod is gentle, understanding. "Yes, Magria, we are together." Pause the sound of distant birdsong and the rustle of leaves. "But that doesn't make your feelings any less important. You matter, Nick. You always will." Nick manages a faint, brave smile. The pain is there, but so is relief. A quiet acceptance blooming where hope once fluttered. "Thank you, Eilif, for listening, for being honest." They stand for a moment in the dappled silence, the forest bearing witness to a gentle goodbye. Not the ending of a bond, but the soft turning of its page. As Nick steps away, the promise of new paths glimmers in the fading light, and Eilif watches, wishing him quiet courage for whatever comes next. The last rays of sunlight filter through the emerald canopy, painting the clearing in soft gold, painting the clearing in green. Nick lingers at the edge of the path, his wings catching the light. He takes one last glance back. Eilif steps beside him. No words at first, just a comfortable silence and the sound of their breaths mingling with the hush of the forest. Eilif offers a hand, palm open, the gesture simple and sincere. "Nick," he says quietly, "no matter what changes, you're my friend. That won't ever fade." Nick looks up, searching Eilif's eyes for any trace of doubt, but finds only warmth. Relief washes over him, a gentle tide smoothing away the last jagged edge of uncertainty. A small, grateful laugh escapes Nick. "You mean it?" he asks, voice soft but steadier now. Eilif's smile is all the answer he needs. "Always," Eilif replies, squeezing his hand with a quiet promise. The moment stretches, then is broken by distant laughter, the rest of the group calling, ready to continue the journey. Nick and Eilif exchange a look of understanding, a silent pact woven between them. They join Rebecca. They join Magria. They join the others, stepping back onto the path not as strangers to heartache, but as friends bound by honesty and trust. The adventure ahead feels brighter. Each step lighter, the bonds between them stronger for all they've shared. As the forest closes around their laughter and footsteps, a new chapter begins, one where every goodbye holds the seed of a deeper connection, and every truth spoken brings them closer together. The forest deepens its shadows, soft and welcoming. Nick flits ahead, beckoning with a playful wave. Sunbeams thread through the branches, illuminating secret paths only a fairy could find. Eilif, Rebecca, Magria, their footsteps muffled by moss and wonder. Nick's voice is a melody as he points out a cluster of moonlit lilies, coaxing them open with a twirl of his fingers. Petals unfurl, shimmering with dew and a hint of stardust. Magria's eyes widen in awe, her own magic humming in response. Nick grins, cheeks aglow, clearly delighted by her admiration. "See those silver thistles?" Nick whispers, his wings flickering. "They only sing at dusk. Listen." The group pauses, and a faint melodic hum drifts on the breeze. Rebecca nudges Nick, a sly smile on her lips. "You sure it's not just you making our hearts flutter?" Nick's laughter bubbles up, bright and bashful. Magria glances away, her colors deepening. They weave through a tapestry of ancient roots and glowing mushrooms, Nick sharing stories of fairy dances beneath the full moon and the hidden groves where wishes are whispered into the wind. Each tale stitches them closer. Eilif's steady presence, Rebecca's quick wit, Magria's gentle wonder, and Nick's boundless joy. As twilight settles, the group pauses in a sun-dappled hollow, the air thick with magic and belonging. In that enchanted quiet, fate feels tangible, a golden thread drawing them together for adventures yet unwritten. Laughter and warmth linger, blooming like wildflowers in the secret heart of the woods. Dusk settles softly over the enchanted woods, painting the world in hues of lavender and gold. In a quiet glade, the friends gather around a ring of glowing mushrooms, each cap casting a gentle, otherworldly light. Nick, wings shimmering with anticipation, grins and lifts his hands. With a flick of his fingers, tiny orbs of light spiral into the air, twirling, weaving, and pirouetting above their heads. The magical lights shimmer in every color, reflecting in the wide eyes of his friends. Eilif claps, Rebecca claps, laughter ringing out like wind chimes, their delight echoing through the clearing. Magria's gaze lingers on Nick, her smile soft and full of warmth. Nick catches her look, cheeks blooming pink, and the lights above momentarily swirl in a bashful dance. As the lights settle into a gentle glow, the group sinks onto the mossy earth. One by one, they share stories. Moments of feeling different, of being outsiders longing for a place to belong. Eilif's voice is steady, Rebecca's quick and bright, Magria's gentle as a summer breeze. Finally, Nick's voice trembles with honesty. Among the fairies, I've always felt a little out of step. Like my wings beat to a different rhythm. But here, with all of you, I feel seen. Like I finally belong. A quiet understanding ripples through the circle. The glowing mushrooms pulse in time with their hearts, and the magical lights above gently orbit, casting shimmering shadows of friendship and acceptance. In that circle of belonging, their laughter and confessions weave together, forging a bond that will light their path, no matter how dark the woods may grow. Morning dew glistens on emerald leaves as the friends wander down to a sparkling stream, its waters singing over polished stones. Shafts of sunlight dance on the surface, turning every ripple into a trail of liquid gold. Nick crouches beside the bank, his wings flickering with excitement. With a practiced flick, he sends a flat stone skipping across the water, each bounce igniting a trail of glowing light that lingers in the air like a comet's tail. Magria watches in awe, her eyes wide, then tries her hand. Her first stone plunks into the water with a soft splash, but Nick's laughter, warm and encouraging, spurs her on. He gently guides her wrist, and together they launch a stone that skips 3 times. Leaving a shimmering rainbow in its wake, Magria laughs, the sound clear and unguarded, and for a moment the worries of the world drift away on the current. Eilif watches from a mossy log, his eyes twinkle as he gives Nick an encouraging wink. Rebecca, ever the observer, hugs her knees and grins silently, rooting for the friendship blossoming before her. As Nick and Magria skip stones side by side, their laughter mingles with the bubbling stream. Magria leans closer, her voice soft. "Thank you, Nick, for making me feel special." Nick's cheeks flush, but his eyes shine with happiness. The water glimmers, reflecting not just the magic of the stones, but the growing bond between new friends, each ripple a promise that, together, they will shape brighter days ahead. A sudden hush falls over the stream as the sky darkens, fat raindrops begin to plink on leaves and water alike. The friends scatter, laughter echoing, until they find refuge beneath the wide, sheltering arms of a giant emerald leaf. Droplets drum a steady rhythm overhead, weaving a cocoon of sound that feels like a secret world set apart from everything else. Huddled close, sharing warmth and space, the friends let their guards down. Rebecca starts, her voice a gentle murmur, sharing a dream of exploring distant lands and unearthing forgotten legends. Eilif, ever the quiet anchor, admits he fears being left behind, but hopes their bonds will keep them together. Nick, wings damp but spirit bright, turns to Magria. His voice trembles with honesty. "You're brave, Magria, braver than you know, and you're beautiful, inside and out." Magria's eyes glisten. She takes Nick's hand, her words steady. "Thank you, Nick. Your friendship means more to me than magic or treasure. I promise, I'll always stand by you." Around them, the rain becomes a gentle curtain, softening the world to just this moment. One by one, they each share a hope, a fear, a secret, binding themselves tighter with every whisper. As the storm passes, the friends look to one another, a silent promise echoing between them. Whatever storms may come, they will face them together. As the rain fades, sunlight pierces the lingering mist, bathing the forest in a golden glow. High above, a rainbow stretches, vivid and full, arching over the treetops like a bridge to new beginnings. The friends step out from under their leafy shelter, laughter bubbling as they blink into the light, feeling the world has changed with them. Nick, cheeks tinged with hope, shyly presents Magria with a small glowing flower close up, the petals shimmering with the colors of the rainbow. for you," he whispers, voice trembling with sincerity. Magria's eyes widen with surprise and warmth. She pulls Nick into a grateful hug, her joy radiating brighter than any spell. Eilif grins. Clapping Nick on the shoulder, Rebecca twirls beneath the rainbow, her laughter ringing through the leaves. The moment is simple but profound. New bonds, gentle courage, hearts unmasked. Together they set off along a sun-dappled path, side by side, the memory of shared secrets, the promise of adventures ahead lighting their way. The forest, once mysterious and unknown, now feels like home, a place where friendship blooms and even the softest crush can shine. With every step, the group knows, whatever awaits beyond the rainbow, they will